Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy Jack here at the Irish Hotspur. We're going to be needing plenty of sirs come the North London Derby. Massive, massive game coming Sunday. I must be honest, very nervous. Probably the most nervous for any game I felt like this week, this sort of season in general. Could be a huge momentum changer. Could be a huge energy change in that dressing room. Perhaps maybe if there are any players that aren't fully behind Conte, if they do get a win here, I could see them being behind Conte. I could see also as well maybe Conte getting a bit of respect back, perhaps from the fans as well from the boardroom. Of course, we know we're kind of trying to negotiate plenty of transfers. It is a massive weekend for us. So let's get this fan show underway, people. It is going to be led by myself. David is not feeling too well today, and we do want him nice and fit for that North London Derby. I've given him a bit of a Rodrigo Bentoncourt treatment, a bit of a Richarlison treatment. We're putting him in that ice chamber, basically trying to get him all well, getting the fluids in him, all that good sort of stuff. But everybody, while you're in here, do smash that like button. Plenty of things to be chatting about today. I'm going to go through the topics here, then I'm going to go through the chat, and then we'll get our people on because we already have a pretty good queue going already here. We're just going to kind of get warmed up with general feelings going into this North London Derby. Like I said before, I am a little nervous, probably the most nervous I've ever been. It really mostly just has to do with the fact that I think it is the best Arsenal side that we've ever come up against, and at least even my lifetime. I'm going to be honest. Probably we've come up against Arsenal teams where maybe I wasn't too confident in my own Spurs side, but I don't know. I'm confident in my own Spurs side, but it's just this Arsenal side are probably the best that I've ever seen in maybe my lifetime. I know probably plenty of people were around for the Invincibles and were able to witness them, but that was kind of before my football viewing, let's say. So I wasn't able to catch them, let's say, in person in any sort. So this is basically the best Arsenal team, maybe in my lifetime at least, maybe since the Invincibles. Let me know if I'm wrong on that one. It's a sad thing to admit. Another thing I kind of want to get stuck into and maybe ask the guests here is Arsenal start fast and score early. How can Spurs stop that? I don't know if I even have a great answer for that because we don't even have a good back line, don't even have a good set of center backs to be picking from. And if with the fact that Moonhead, I don't think is really in too good a form right now. Ben Davies, I don't think has convinced me too much since coming back from the World Cup. We are going to be probably with at least one center back that we don't have a lot of confidence in. Longley didn't even do too well, I think, in the last North London Derby, but I will talk about, I think, a bit later why I think Longley could be a pretty crucial player for this game because I do think we could take advantage of how good he is on the ball. But how do we start those? How do we stop those? Fast starts from the likes of Arsenal? How do we stop those kind of it seems like that high press, high energy kind of way that they seem to come after teams, and it seems to really work on anybody. If I've ever watched them, they always seem to score within that first 10, 15 minutes, whereas Spurs were a bit of kind of a second half team. So let me know what you guys think of that one, especially if they're a first half team and we're a second half team. How's that going to turn out? If Bentoncourt doesn't start, this is the big one here. Who do you play next to Højbjerg, Basuma or Papa Matasar? A lot of people want to start Papa Matasar because he's the guy in form. He's the guy that looks the best. He's looked better than Basuma, maybe in the moments that he's had this season. And then Skippy is just kind of out of the picking entirely by the looks of things. He's really fallen down the pecking order there. So it probably is going to be a choice between Basuma or Papa Matasar. Do you go with Basuma, the guy who's probably played in the bigger games in his career, at least, whereas Papa Matasar is just the guy that's kind of informed, the guy that's feeling confident. But do you throw him into the fire like that? Do you throw him into kind of a game that's just so momentous, just so huge for Spurs, and then as well coming up against an Arsenal midfield, which is one of the best midfields in the league right now as well. So it's not going to be too easy for him, let's be honest. And so do you really throw him into the fire like that? Let me know, everybody. And then also, if you want to get stuck into kind of a bit of the news, Trossard apparently stormed off in training and had a bit of a fuss, so to speak, in the Brighton training, and apparently has been basically just shown the door. They're going to try to find a way out for Trossard. He seems to be finding his own way out, maybe pulling off a bit of a Cristiano Ronaldo, if you will, over at Brighton. He just is kind of making a bit of a scene. So do we want that type of player at Spurs, a guy that's going to sort of make a fuss like that and kind of make it about himself? Or is it maybe just him just trying to get a move as soon as he can? Because he is a bit of a purple patch player and he's having a great season. So maybe this is his moment to get a move away to a big team. And he's just sort of making a dramatic way of it. But let us know, everybody. Would you take Trossard? And then the last one is, we know our biggest weakness is most consistently our defense. What is Arsenal's weakness? Arsenal's weakness? How can Spurs catch them out. So basically, I think we know that our biggest weakness is that back line. How can we catch out maybe Arsenal's weakness? Is it maybe the fact that they play very high line, maybe long leg with those clip balls over the top? I'll probably get into that with the chat and as well as with the fans later in the fan show. But let us know like what you think Arsenal's weakness is. So plenty of topics to be chatting about, plenty of things to be getting stuck into later. So let's get to the chat here, and then we'll bring on our first guest of the evening. It is going to be Mia, by the way, everybody. Theo's in the house. Good to see you, Theo. Always good to see you in the chat, my man. And always in here first as well. Dermot's in here. Big up, guys. It's the most important game of the season. If we want top four, we have to win on Sunday. We can't let the Gunners beat us. We can win. We will win because we are the mighty Tottenham Hotspur. Big up, Dermot. Crankshaw's in the house as well. Bonjour, all. Good to see you, my man. Guten Morgen. George Hill, big up, lads. This game will be won and lost in the midfield. We need to start to pin the runners back. So we'll need Perisic and Shakrati to keep their wide defenders honest. Decky will be huge. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Harris Army. Decky's absolutely massive for this one. But if the game's going to be won and lost in that midfield, I mean, who do you play alongside Højbjerg then, George? Do you go for a three-man midfield? Do you go for a 3-5-2, George? Let me know, my man. But Doherty just needs to continue that good form. He really does need to continue that good form. Absolutely right, George. And then Dark Sun G, good to see you in here, my man. The gel laughed my ass off. The Blues are getting battered everywhere they go. I also love how they brought Joao Felix on loan and he gets a red, banning him for 3 games. They drop points because of Bobo the Clown, Vinicius, and Willian. It's kind of hilarious, the goal scorers as well. You must be honest. In this case, Dark Sun G, you're absolutely right. But when it comes to Graham Potter, I must be honest. I didn't exactly see this coming. I kind of thought he would do well at Chelsea, to be fair. I just think it's glorious to see that he isn't doing well. And he is kind of, maybe by the looks of things, out of his depth, Dark Sun G, because he really looked like a deer in the headlights kind of when he went down in that game. And he really does look kind of like a shadow of himself. All that sort of what is it, the psychology training or whatever he has, like, as well, doesn't seem to be coming into play here. A lot of those Chelsea players just don't seem to trust him or don't seem to be taking in at all what he's trying to teach them or what he's trying to instruct to them when it comes to his tactics or anything. It's just not looking good over there. They're going to either have to have a complete squad overhaul or they're just going to have to sack Graham Potter. And I think it makes it even more brilliant because a lot of people loved Graham Potter. They wanted him to come to Spurs, and he kind of rejected Spurs, if I'm not mistaken, kind of to a degree, sort of kind of saw us as maybe a career ruiner, kind of maybe difficult of a place to go, but also kind of just thought of himself as sort of better than Spurs in a way. So it's kind of nice to see that the likes of Harry Potter has been given his due revenge. But the likes of Willian, hilarious to see him scoring against the likes of Chelsea. And then Vinicius, I must be honest, it was just beautiful to see big Carlos Vinicius scoring a header like that. What a ball, though, from Andreas Pereira, Dark Sun G, and a bit of a West London derby, if I'm not mistaken, too. So absolutely right. And then Joao Felix, I must be honest, he looked good, and he looks like maybe a good signing for them, but he is kind of a bit of a Darwin Nunez situation where it's like you just signed a really expensive player, and I think he's one of the more expensive loans that I've ever seen in a season, and then he's just going to miss 3 games, on the bounce like that, and it's going to be probably 3 important games for Chelsea as well. So yeah, not a good move by Joao. Not a good move there, Dark Sun G. We have Zara Ace in the house. Good to see you, my man. Good days to come. Happy Decky is back. Always good to see that. Good to see Art Green as well. Dark Sun G with another one. I'm happy that our ace attacker Decky is back. I mean, a lot of people thought if we had Kulusevski available for that North London derby the first time around when we were over at the Emirates that we would have won it. And I mean, being the biased Spurs fan I am, I kind of want to agree with people when it comes to that because we were playing Richarlison, I believe, on the wing. Richarlison was kind of like a little unconvincing for the most part out in the wing, and a lot of people don't really like him out there in general. And if we had maybe a Kulusevski with a Sonny, with a Kane, it could have maybe gone a bit different for us and maybe would have been a bit more lethal with some of the attacks we had because we had good chances in that game. Just what I think was ruined by maybe poor touches or poor moments by whatever player in the front 3. So had maybe we had the composure of a Kulusevski, Dark Sun G, maybe would have won that actually, or maybe at least gotten a point or something out of it. That's at least the biased Spurs fan in me. That's what I want to say. Big up, my man. BX Gunners in the house. Well, let's get ready, my man. Phil is here 48 hours away from the biggest game of the season. The nerves are starting to kick in now. Not going to lie, but I can't go against the mighty Spurs. So it's a 2-0 win for me with Harry Kane. He's one of our own to get a brace. Does that mean he's breaking the record then? If he's getting the brace, Phil, I'm pretty sure that means he's breaking the record because that's what all he needs, right? Is a brace to do it. Can he do it on North London Derby Day, Phil? That's absolutely massive. The vibes, the absolute vibes. 164 Spur. Good to see you, Irish Gooner. Get ready, my man. Chunky Cheeks as well. Good to see you, my man. Elias Christian. Kulu's gonna show Arsenal where they belong. Go back to Woolwich, the scum. Wow, love it. Elias feeling the energies, creating the cauldron of hate for the Gooners. Wembley is here too. Afternoon, boys. I feel we have to populate the midfield on Sunday. Just two in there are just not going to be able to cope otherwise. So it doesn't matter for you if it's Basuma or Papa Matasari. You're going for the 3-5-2. Good to see there, Wembley. Nice to see somebody kind of going for something a little different tactically, let's say, in this North London derby. Hennessy is in the house. We might need that Sunday, so it's good to see you in here today, my man. We have DJ Samuel as well. Good to see you, DJ. We have Stylo. Hey, Jack, and big up to everyone in the comments. Hope Dave gets better. Going to the North London derby for the first time since the League Cup 5-1 win in 2008 out of my 7 home games this season, Champions League and Premier League. We've been unbeaten. Stylo. So maybe been a bit of a good luck charm. We're going to need you Sunday. Appreciate letting us know, my man. Good to see that. Hope you have a terrific time. And honestly, going to a North London derby, I can't imagine what that's like. I've never been to one before, but the fact that you haven't been to one in, what is it, over 10 years, clearly. Geez, Stylo. I mean, I hope you have a brilliant time, and let's be that good luck charm. We need good luck charms out there, my friend. Brian Dempsey, how's things, Jack? Need Conte special on Sunday. 3 points, no less. I like that energy, Brian. I'm kind of the same way. I feel like 3 points, it just would be such a momentum changer, such an energy changer for us, Brian. And things are all good over here, my man. Got the coffee to my right, a little bit of water as well. Had a nice yogurt as well this morning, which sort of kind of rejuvenated me a little bit because I didn't get too much sleep, Brian. Dark Sun G would love Trossard. He is a great player who scores against the big teams like City and Liverpool, Gooners, etc. I haven't really thought about the goals that he scores against. Like maybe I haven't thought about him as sort of a big game player in the teams that he scores against, Darkson G. But what I like about Trossard is that I think he offers something a little bit different to Sonny. I don't think he's as ruthless of a finisher as Sonny is. Don't get me wrong. This season, Trossard is probably scoring more goals than he usually does, but I feel like what he's actually good at is that sort of creative kind of a spark, maybe that creative sort of kind of eye for a pass. He likes to play people in behind and things like that. And I'm not really sure if that's Sonny's biggest strength in his game. Whereas Trossard, I think, is a tricky kind of little player, and he could be quite useful. There's something really different to Sonny out on the left. So if it is a good cheap deal, if it kind of makes sense for all parties, and we know Daniel Levy likes a cheap deal when he sees one, kind of makes sense for Spurs to go after him. I kind of also like the idea of going after somebody that can basically just step in for Lucas, because Lucas is supposed to be the one that's kind of supposed to be challenging Sonny, supposed to be challenging Kulusevski. He's just supposed to be that extra attacker that we could bring on, if we wanted something different, Dark Sun G. And Lucas just hasn't been available at all this season for us. Basically, he's been extinct. So I don't know. I think we might need to just take anything at this stage that sort of is, in form. I really liked, actually, to be honest, the Kolo Muani guy from Frankfurt. Originally, I kind of wrote him off, but after seeing him in the World Cup, I mean, he tore people apart. Maybe we could consider going back after him. But if Trossard's a cheap deal, a guy who knows the Premier League really well, seems to be wanting to make a step up, makes sense. Does make sense to me. But he had a bit of a fuss up in training, Dark Sun G. So do we want that type of energy in the camp? Let me know. Do we want that type of I don't know, like, doesn't really seem like maybe a too humble, or I don't know how to put in the right words, basically. But yeah, he had a bit of a kick up in training, Dark Sun G. Big up, Jakey. Hey, Jack, I'm a Liverpool fan, but I love all football chat. Nice to see, to take a mental break from my club. Decent lad, and always great to listen to. Really appreciate that, Jakey. And I'll keep the Darwin slander to myself today. I must be honest. I have a few friends that are Liverpool fans, and I'm always kind of berating them with the Darwin Nunez slander. But I'll keep it to myself, Jakey, because you're very kind to me. Good man. Paulio's in the house. Got the Paul Army in here. Very strong. Adrian Chia, big up, Jack. Sad to say, only way for us is through VAR. Seems like you've already taken a look at the scripts, Adrian Chia. It seems like you've already maybe know about what's going to happen. It's going to be what, a close game here, and we can only win it through a penalty. Let me know, Adrian Chia, if you've taken a look at the scripts ahead of time. But they are Arsenal, so I don't expect us to win through VAR. And this is a team that seems to get their way through games and has honestly gotten a lot of luck their way through the likes of VAR. Don't get me wrong, I think the Scum have been probably the best team in the league this season, but there have been a lot of games where they've been given real, I think, let's say, what is it? I don't know. They've just been saved plenty of times by the VAR. And I think one of the games that even comes to mind is the likes of Leeds as well. I remember Leeds just missed a ton of chances against them. And I think at one stage VAR came in also to save Arsenal. So if VAR is going to be the decider in this game, I don't see it helping us, Adrian, because VAR has been very kind to them this season. Big up, Amir, top man, Jackie, see you spot on, and a fantastic host, football analyst, and great guy. Appreciate it, Amir. Didn't ask for it, my man. Being very kind, making me blush here today. Tequila, I'm late. Relax, everyone. I made it in time. Pick up Tequila. No worries, my man. We let you slip in time. Don't you worry, my man. No tardy cards. Ken T, I was not feeling any confidence at all in the beginning of the week, but I'm not getting a vibe we will win 4-2. To be honest, Ken T, I'm going to break it to everybody. 2-1 is kind of what I'm thinking. It's not going to be convincing. I could see it being close. I could see it being nerve-wracking. 2-1 is what I'm thinking, but I want people to convince me otherwise. Carl Simpson, big up, Jack. Spurs are turning up this weekend, and Decky's going to blow that back line apart. Good to see that, Carl. That's what I want to hear. And maybe with Kulusevski, we just don't get to see him too much this season, so that's probably why I'm not too confident there, Carl. But once I see Kulusevski just skinning past man after man, showing them the weight room, then I'll get some confidence. Killian Gubens, good to see you in the house. We're going to need Doherty this weekend. We're going to need the best version of himself, my man. So hopefully you can speak to him. Adrian Chi as well. Kane penalty in the 91st minute for the softest push to make it 1-1. Ooh, that's going to be a dark one. Adrian G. If we're like crawling back just to get a goal in a North London derby, especially in our own house, my man, that just sounds tough. Adrian. And I mean, you write the scripts, though. I mean, I can't blame you. You write the scripts. I mean, no one's you don't want it to go that way, Adrian. Can't blame you, my man. Appreciate your support as well. Catman Jess is in the house. Good to see you from my friend. Big up everyone in the chat. Good man, Catman Jess. John Langford as well. Good to see you, John. Jack's Spurs 3-0. Love to see that. Good man, John Langford. CCH is in the house. I feel Trossard having Hazard vibes. I'm getting Hazard vibes as well from it, to be honest, CCH, especially with kind of that kick up that he had in training. And I liked his Arabi as well. So I don't really know why he's doing that sort of kind of kick up, if you ask me, my man. Dark Sun G also saying Trossard scored a hat trick versus Liverpool at Anfield. I think Trossard liked Potter. Maybe that's what it is. And I didn't know that he actually scored against the big teams, Dark Sun G, because he doesn't score too many goals this, maybe last season he started to turn it up a bit, and maybe the most recent or this season as well. But I haven't thought about the big teams that he scored against. So you might be onto something there. Big up, my man. We also have Orox Beats in the house as well. Trossard would be great. Maybe he just needs Conte to adjust his attitude. I mean, no one would dare stand up to Conte. So it's probably, if he's willing to, handle a guy like that, then I think it all can go well, probably. If he's not willing to stand up to Conte, you're probably right there. Orox Beats, my man. We also have Belfaz here too. Apologies if I missed anybody. Ewan here. Good to see you, Ewan. Good to see you in here, my man, as well. And then Belfaz, happy to see the team turn up and put on a fighting display. Come on, you Spurs. That's exactly what we want to be seeing. And then Wayne Bonner in here got hold of my first gooner at work this week and bantered the hell out of the poor sod. Is Kulu available Sunday? 2-1 Tottenham. I mean, Wayno, you gave him all that banter without even knowing that Kulu was available. Kulusevski is available, my friend. So you probably could have gone even harder on him. You could have gave him even more of an earful. But Kulusevski is available. He will be starting, I think, by the looks of things. He's been in training. He's been getting warmed up for this one. Wayne. But the likes of Bentancur and Richarlison, I'm not sure if they're going to be starting, especially Bentancur. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting. So you might have to be thinking about alternatives there, Wayne. Maybe Basuma, the likes of Papa Matasar. Which one would you go for? Go for Basuma, a guy with a bit more experience in these big games, or Papa Matasar, the guy who's really feeling it, having all the confidence? Which one would you go for? But Kulusevski is going to be available. And I'm 2-1 as well, actually, Wayne. And I'll take it. A win is a win. And we need that momentum change. And we need to take the points off of the Gooners for me, my friend. And it needs to start somewhere, because we could be the catalyst for maybe a bit of a downfall for them. We could be the catalyst for a bit of a, that eventual slip up that everybody predicts. Everybody keeps thinking the Gooners will slip up at some stage. Maybe we might be the catalyst for it, Wayne, if we get that win. And a win is a win. 2-1. I'll take it, especially if it even were to come with that VAR that Adrian Tio was talking about. Maybe a 2-1 90th minute VAR decision for Kane penalty. I'll take anything at this stage, my man. KPV, where are you? We need you in the chat, KPV. We were asking for you to cue the music, my friend, but really appreciate the support, Wayne. All right, everybody. I'm going to bring in my first guest of the evening. Please hit that like button if you haven't already, and also do show the guests some support. Feel free to throw in some questions to the guests as well. Keep throwing in the comments, and I'll bring them up on screen to ask Mia any questions regarding this North London derby. I have some questions right here as well to be able to ask all you guys as well as Mia, and also keep getting your comments in and hit that like button, everybody. But let's get started. All right, Mia, how are we?
I'm good, thank you. You okay?
Doing okay. I mean, do we just get warmed up here? Just kind of general feeling going into this North London derby? I've kind of expressed that I'm nervous. My score prediction was 2-1. How are you feeling about this one going into it?
I'm always nervous. There's never a time that I'm not nervous. It doesn't matter. I've always been like that. I always get that feeling of being a bit sick before the game. I get that really nervous, anxious belly where I'm just like, oh, I don't like it. It feels really like, I always feel like that. It doesn't matter how we're playing. I always feel like that. So I think it is just this game that does that to me anyway. It wouldn't matter. So I think I'm going to feel like that regardless. But I'm not. It's a really strange one, because we all know that form goes out of the window. And when they've been at their best, obviously I am old enough, shameful to say really, to see the Invincibles. So to me, we have given them good games, even when they have been at their best. And they haven't won at our place for a very long time. If you look back, it's been a very long time. Even when we played them at Wembley and they got that last minute penalty, they bottled it and he missed it. Well, Hugo
are we more nervous because it's the best Arsenal side? Would you say, like, what did you make of my comment in the beginning of the show where I said maybe the best Arsenal side since the Invincibles?
But I do understand that. But as I just said, when we've played the best teams, we still form goes out of the window for this game. It's not really like, it really does go out the window, because when people say, oh, Tottenham in form, people are like, oh no, it don't count. But now Arsenal in form, everyone's like, oh, Arsenal really in form. Oh, they're definitely going to beat you. Well, we know that's not the case. So why is it only one way? It always seems like it's anti-Tottenham. Oh, well, Arsenal were in form. Like, no, I think that at the end of the day, form does go out the window. It really does go out the window. It's just, to me,
why am I feeling so nervous this time, Mia? Do I just need to pull myself together here, or is
there
maybe
you need to pull on your big boy socks, put your big boy pants, and just be a bit more like, no, we're going to do this. We're at home. Okay. So we're going to they barely beat us at home. We've had draws at home, obviously, and Wembley again, we've drawn. But we've had draws, but they have barely won at our place for a very long time. Like, they just haven't. So that the statistics tell you that it's unlikely that they're going to win. If we're going by statistics.
I pull myself together here. I mean, I kind of like that, especially if it's in our own house, and also as well, when even there's been good Arsenal teams or Arsenal teams that have been in form and all that, and Spurs have been out of form and maybe out of confidence. Like you said, I guess it has never mattered. It feels like it's just sort of the result still goes our way. But I don't know. It's just something about it. I'm more nervous than I've ever have been before going into this one. It's maybe just because I am that intimidated by maybe the Arsenal side. It's not even that I don't back our own boys here, but just sort of think they continue to find a way, Arsenal, even when they're not playing that well. We see VAR helps them out in games, Mia. So
last season at home, what did we do? We smashed them. They ran away at first, and then they came to our place, and then they absolutely bottled it, and then they bottled the top four. Let's not forget that. I know they're playing better this season, but still, let's not forget they did bottle it. And when they come to our ground, if we all get behind the team, whoever goes, if we all cheer, we boot every single one of those scumbags, then they are going to feel intimidated. So we need to make sure that we're the extra man when we're at the stadium, and make sure that Arsenal know that we are there. That's what we need to do.
We got to create that cauldron of hate, as Davis, I think, put it the
100%.
other night.
And
Yeah,
if they need jeering up, I'll happily go and jeer us all up. Let's talk about some of the stuff to do with them, how much we absolutely hate and despise them. Cool. Just channel all of that and make sure you put it out to them when we see them come on that pitch. The minute they touch that grass, you boo the hell out of them.
Come together with your passion against the scum. Let's ask a bit of a tactical question here. Wayne Bonner has answered it here. He said, if Benny's not available, I'd play Sarr hands down. That's in reference to Bentancur, of course, being maybe not fit enough to start. Would you go with Papa Matasar, the kid in form, or you go with Bissouma?
Oh, Joe, what? I'm really torn on this one. I really am. Because of those SARS in form, I just wonder if it's a bit too much of a big game for him to be chucked on. And then Basuma's not particularly doing well. So it's like, who do you pick? Yeah. I think he might actually go for Skip. I've got a feeling he might go for Skip. And do you know why? I feel like he might is because he's more maybe defensive minded, and their midfield is very good. So I wonder, because they've got Partey, they've got Odegaard, they've got some really good players, and I think that they might need a bit of a stronger midfield. So I've got a feeling that he actually might go with Skip.
He's looking like a deer in headlights, though, recently, Skippy has in games where his touch is really heavy, and he's not – I know what you mean, exactly right, Mia, right, where he loves to get stuck in. He loves kind of the dirty side of the game, but he got skinned so many times by Eze and Zaha. Like, it's just he's not looking like his normal self out there. So is that the game where he picks himself up and, pulls himself together? I'm not sure.
The other reason I think that he might do it as well, because he's a Spurs boy, so it means a lot to him, this game. So he might therefore play a little, like, up his game a little bit. And he obviously, I don't think he's got time to be fit he hasn't got time to get fit, because we need him to be ready now. And I know he has had that injury, but I think the way Conte will see it is that it's a bit twofold. He will get stuck in, and he's a Tottenham boy, so he will know how much this game means. So I'm wondering if he will pick Skip, and I've got a feeling that he will pick Skip, because I really don't think that either Bissouma or Sarr are going to be his options. I think he's going to look at it and think, I don't trust either of them. I don't think that Sarr is too much for him, and Bissouma's not been good enough. And I know that Skip hasn't been good enough, but it's sort of the less of the three evils, if you like.
I don't know if I'm thinking about this, I don't know if I've said this before, but kind of what I'm starting to think is, like, a guy like Papa Matasar, it just feels like, unless he really backs himself in a game like this, like he's sort of wanting to play, I don't really feel like you should maybe throw him in a game like that, because it just feels like it's unfair. If it does go wrong, I don't really see it being his fault or anything. Whereas, like, Bissouma, this is a guy we brought in for 26 million, 27 million, whatever it was, and was supposed to be a guy that was going to displace Højbjerg and be one of the signings of the season, basically. And he hasn't been that for us, but you sort of think, like, maybe this is why you sign a player like that, so that he can prove that that's why you went out and got him. Whereas, and if you're playing maybe someone like Papa Matasar, how much confidence are you really then? Have you already given up on Bissouma? Really, is what I'm trying to say. Is if you've given up on Bissouma already, if you don't play him in that North London derby.
The thing is, it isn't really giving up on Bissouma. It's just saying, listen, I don't trust you, because you are not going to probably do what I want you to do in this game, and you could be a risk, because they have got those midfielders that we need to be very, very wary of. We have to be wary of them, we do. And so I think that he probably just doesn't trust him enough, and maybe he's saying that he obviously bought him and he doesn't trust him, but I don't know. I think that everybody expected him to be the player he was at Brighton, and he just hasn't done that. That's the thing.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. And then Dark Sun G said, I looked at premierinjuries.com and Saka is a 75% late fitness test. I think he took a knock in maybe the Oxford game
Yeah,
or something like that.
he did.
I don't know though. Like, feels like there's a bit of housery that's always done with
I've
these injuries. They're always concealing everything. They're not making everything
well,
sound. I don't know.
I've
What
heard
do you think, Mia?
I've heard that he's fine. I've been
Yeah.
looking about, and I've heard that Lego Man said that he will be fine for the North London derby. So I've got no doubt they'll play Saka. No doubt in
Yeah.
my mind. That's somebody who we do need to stop. We need to make sure we stop that guy. That guy needs to be stopped because he is very dangerous. And
Yeah.
so is Martinelli. Like they're both like they've got so many. They've got a few dangerous players where we do have to make sure we sort of marshal them really well, because that is where the danger is. And like I say, their midfield is good. Unfortunately, they don't have that many weaknesses. They
Mm.
don't seem to. But
Yeah.
you,
What do you
they
make of
have.
that question I had? Like, what's the weakness, if any, that you would take advantage of when it
I
comes to
think that they have been stopped because I've seen a few games where they haven't played well, but unfortunately, it's games where other teams come at them, and we're not going to play like that. So we're not going to really play like what is their real weakness is. I feel like you said, they play a high line and you can catch them out, and they've been caught out over the years and still now many a time kicking out from the back, and they can be a bit sloppy sometimes and a bit like haphazard with the ball kicking out from the back. And if you press them, you can get at them because they
Maybe we
have
should
made
pick our
other
moments then
mistakes.
tomorrow to press
Yeah,
them, right? Yeah.
I think so. But I do think we're not going to press them enough, or we're going to sit back off of them and let them come at us. And I think that isn't the way like to play them. You need to play them at their own game. And I think that is just the only way to get to them. That's what
Mhm.
I would say. But I just know
I'm
we're
with
not
you.
going to play like that.
I'm
But
with
what
you.
can we do?
And Dark Sun G, I would say, or everybody, please, yeah, use the website Dark Sun G is using premierinjuries.com. Gives you everything you need to know when it comes to those injuries. And everybody wants to know the websites that guy's using because he's always ahead of us when it comes to the stats and everything. Big up, my man. Appreciate your support as well. But Mia, I kind of got, a few more questions for you. What do you feel like with how they start fast, though, the likes of Arsenal? Have you noticed that as well, right? Where they seem to score really early, the majority of their goals seem to come in the kind of the beginning of the first half and then or in kind of the first few minutes of the second half. How do we counteract that, especially since we're a team that seems to be, let's be honest, a little sloppy in the first half in a lot of games?
With our back line, with difficulty. That's how we stop that. With difficulty. The only one we've got that's decent is Romero. And I know you might say it's because I'm biased, because, he's
I mean, you
cute.
got to show Romero respect. I don't think he's been shown enough, especially since
No.
since he's come back from the World Cup. I personally think he's actually put a few people, I don't know, he's maybe demanded some respect back. I think he's been brilliant since he's returned back from the World Cup. In that Aston Villa game, even though we lost, he was the best player on the pitch, I thought. And then against Crystal Palace, I mean, he was just an absolute menace. So I just think,
Yeah, no.
he needs
When he
respect.
does those tackles, I love it. Those proper old school sliding in, give no F's tackles. I absolutely love it when he does that. And the way he as well, when he puts his arms up, when it gets like called out for being a foul, he's like, "What do you mean it's a foul? That's no foul." I just love that attitude. I'm like, "Damn right, you tell him that
Oh,
wasn't no foul."
he's actually the king of cleaning out somebody, but getting the ball first. Like he is the
Yeah,
king of
he's
that. Honestly,
brilliant.
it's his favorite thing to do. You can tell is just absolutely clattering a guy by getting the ball first before he clatters them afterwards. Like
Yeah,
it really
that's
is brilliant. It's
it just
it's old school. It's what
that's what I
people.
like.
It's a lost art. Let's say it's a lost art. But how do we then, right? If that defense is going to be challenged so much, and if they have such fast starts. I mean, do we depend on maybe just Moonhead and Longley and Romero just to stay switched on and just keep themselves together here? Or I
I
don't know,
think
could you see us conceding maybe
I think
could you
it's
see
gonna
us conceding first?
I think it's going to have to be a real team effort. So I think that in the first few minutes, I think we're going to have to be ultimately all of them switched on and in defense mode. And I know that everyone's going to go, oh, but we should try and push on. But because we know they actually do like to score early, I think by stopping that, that stops their confidence and a bit of their flow. Because I've seen other games where they don't score early and they have lost a bit of their flow because they get frustrated. They're like, oh, normally we score early. So I feel like maybe if we did that, like, we can maybe try and temper their little like burst at the beginning and then come at them. So I think we all of our players have to be fully switched on from the whistle. That whistle goes, switched on, all of us, into like basically making sure that we do not allow them to score early on.
Tequila's saying they do have weaknesses, Mia. One quick kick in and the happy sacks, and they will drop like anyone else. It's kind of like smash them first, bit of a Romero smash, get kind of the first blood, and maybe you kind of I don't know, take them off their pedestal a little bit, right? Knock their confidence, kind of make it clear that they're not going to be able to walk in here and be, kind of the top of the league, kind of, swagger and all that sort of stuff, Mia, right? Maybe come after them and show that physicality that Conte obviously loves to train into them, right? Show it to them.
Yeah, I think that, like, obviously, like I say, switched on doesn't mean that we're not going to, like, we can do a few little crunches on them, making sure that they know they're at our ground now. They're not going to be able to do whatever they like because they're at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we're going to make sure that we're on them. We're going to make sure that we're physical with them, and we wind them up a little bit. Get in their faces a little bit, wind them up, because then that's how they get sent off, because they haven't got the best control. They don't get as many red cards, but they have always been known to be a team that cheats, that obviously does try it, and they do get sent off. So I think, yeah, why not? We could just try and get in their faces and really like jeer them up. We needed like a Lamella style. Do you know what I'm saying? A bit Lamella, channel a bit of Lamella. We need to get them on the FaceTime before the game, and then cheer them up a little bit. Tell them that it'd be like, right, boys, do this. Get in their faces. Whisper little things in their ears. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly right. But
little things like, say like last night I smashed your mum hard and I just smashed you. Something like that. Just wind them up.
it's about setting the tone. It's about setting the tone, really. And I think a team like Arsenal as well, right? They're full of technically brilliant players, but they're also maybe full of players that might not actually match us in that physical department, might not match us in that sort of physicality and sort of like how I sometimes put it when it comes to the weight room and all that. So I think we need to show that to them to a degree, to also just kind of make it quite intimidating for them if they do want to kind of come at us, and if they do want to try to maybe come into the box and everything, to make it quite difficult for them, because I don't know, they're full of kind of slight, technically good players, but not any real kind of, how would you put it? Not any real big bullies in that team or anything.
No.
Whereas us, we're kind of full of shit houses and full of like players like that. So I think we need to see that come alive. And we kind of wish actually we did have a Richarlison available just for that reason, because he would be like Lamella to bring off the bench, to be fair.
Someone just asked how what made me support Tottenham was actually my nan. My nan supported Tottenham, so she passed it on to me and to my brother. So we both support Spurs, and my cousin as well. He supports Spurs. One of my cousins is a traitor and supports Liverpool, though, which I'm not appreciative.
No Gooners in the family, though, Mia, right?
No way.
Okay,
no way. Good. Only my cousin who married one, which I don't appreciate either, but she,
that's for another call. That's for another call that we'll get to the bottom of that. But tell us about the channel, Mia. Thanks for getting us started as well on the North London Derby.
After this, if everybody could go and watch my videos, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm literally 3 away from getting my 100, and when I get my 100, I'm going to do my very first live, which is scary for me to actually have to do a live, but I'm going to do one because I said I would after 100. So yeah, I've done plenty of content in the build up to this match, and today I've just done my preview. So if after this, all of you could just go and give that a little watch, I'd really, really appreciate it. I'm just getting started, obviously, on my YouTube journey, and I'm trying my hardest to keep putting that content out there and make it good, giving my opinions, because like I say, I'm quite a strong opinionated person, and I try and be fair, though. I always try and be fair, and I always like to hear other people's opinions, so don't be shy. Come and comment in, put a little comment in there, and I'll reply to it. And I'm always happy to have a little chat with people and discuss things, in a civil way, obviously. Like, it's nice to have conversations.
Looking forward to that live show, Mia, and
yes,
can't wait to be able to be there with you for that live show.
I'm gonna have my special guests. This is an exclusive. Jack and Dave are going to be my first guests on my live as well. So. Yep, because they've been very supportive of me, and I very much I really do appreciate it. And they always get me to call out, to shout out my channel here, and it always gets me a few more followers. So it's really nice that they've always been supportive. So I couldn't have two better first guests.
Love it. Appreciate that, Mia. And everybody, right before this North London Derby, let's show Mia some love and get her over 100 this weekend. But Mia, looking forward to it. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you soon as well, because we're doing a post-match fan show, and we'll see you Monday definitely as well. Big up, man.
In Conte, we trust.
Conte, we trust. Come on, you Spurs. See you soon,
Come on,
man.
Spurs.
Everybody show Mia some support, please. Let's get her over 100, everybody. Just, I think 3 away, I think is what she said. Too easy, too easy. Let's smash it over 100, please, everybody. Good to see you, John Langford. Good question as well, my man. Carl Simpson, smash the subscribe for Mia. Good man, Carl. And then John Langford, good to see you in here. Good to see you, DJ, as well. Wayne Bonner, Sar will dominate and destroy their midfield. Wayne, it seems like you're really sold on Hill Messi and you're sold on Papa Montessori. You're a lover of both of them, because I remember you were really jazzed on Hill Messi as well. I forget which game it was. It wasn't that long ago. It wasn't the Frankfurt game or anything like that. Was it it was like the game before Villa or something like that. Maybe it was one of the friendlies or something, Wayne. I forget which one it was, but it might have been one of those friendlies over the World Cup that you were absolutely buzzed on Hill Messi. And it seems like you're, really confident Papa Montessori. Love it, Wayne. Maybe we should get you over to that youth academy, because they need that sort of that confidence in them. If you ask me, my man, they need that confidence. And I have a lot of hope for Papa Montessori in the future. It feels like he could be an all-action type midfielder, a bit of a Rolls-Royce midfielder, a bit of a guy who can kind of do it all, because it looks like he kind of can do it all to a degree. Loves to get stuck in, has that sort of pace to get in behind, and as well as track back. He also likes to surge forward. Seems to be really technically good on the ball. Loves to be able to turn and be really positive with it. So I'm with you, Wayne. I'm with you, Wayne. But if I'm not mistaken, it seems like you also love Hill Messi too, my man. Big up, Wayno. But let's bring on the next guest of the evening, and it is going to be the Dermotron. All right, Dermo.
How are you, Jacko? How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. I mean, kind of Mia was telling me I got to pull myself together here when I said that I'm going into this a little nervous. Do you feel kind of the same way? Like I need to kind of get some more confidence behind the boys, or are you a little bit nervous like I am?
I'm a little bit nervous, but look, we're always going to be up for a North London derby. We always are. Look, we will beat them at home on Sunday. There's no doubt in my mind that we won't win. 3-0, I'm going for. They're not even going to score. Romero's going to keep it tight at the back. Papa Sarr's going to run that midfield with Højbjerg, and then Harry Kane's going to get 2 goals and break Jimmy Greaves' record. So it's all in the stars.
Does he need a brace? Is that right? It's a brace that he needs?
Yeah, it's just a brace. Which would be very sad for a section of the fan base who remember Jimmy Greaves playing. I never thought that record would be broken. And do you know what I mean? For Harry to do, I think he is one of the great strikers of his generation. He really is. And he's so important for us. On Sunday, he will be up for that. And he will. I mean, Arsenal won't cope with him. He'll be on fire. He'll be really up for that. And so will the rest of the lads. Romero will be knocking doors down. He will be punching holes in the wall. He'd be, he's in the room now, getting ready for that match on Sunday with the Arsenal, players in front of him. Who he's going to tackle, who he's going to Romero. Who he's going to put 20 foot up in the air once he goes and slide tackle them. We are going to win. You're just going to batter them.
Oh, I hope so, Dermot. But the one thing I'm a little worried about with Arsenal is that they start games so quickly, right? And they seem to score goals so early in games. And that defense, we don't have confidence in. So what is it that we maybe do? What is it that they should be doing, do you think, in order to maybe counteract how well that Arsenal team start? Do we just pray to the gods here, or is there maybe something that they, maybe can do differently?
Look, it hurts me to say this. Arsenal are not top of the league for no reason. They are a good side. This is probably the best Arsenal side I've seen since Arsene Wenger's early team when they won the league. Look, we've got to weather the storm, but we've all got to do our jobs in the first 15, 20 minutes. We've all got to stick together. Look, we're Romero and Longley in the back and Dyer in the middle. That's the one that concerns me. That is the one that really does concern me. But if everyone sticks to their jobs and we can see out that first 15, 20-minute storm, then we can grow confidence in the game and just bring the ball down, play our own game plan.
They
and
like
just
to press us, Arsenal,
yeah,
right? They're going to press that back line. So it's important that we have center halves that are confident on the ball, that right aren't going to be afraid of being pressed and going to have that composure in those tricky situations. I
yeah.
think Romero is going to be one of them. I actually think Longley could end up being a crucial player in this game for me,
I
Dermot,
agree
because he
with
has
you.
that clip all over the top. He seems to be composed anytime he is put under a bit of pressure. He's not always the best defensively, but when you seem to try to press him, he knows how to handle it. He seems to know what to do. So I don't know. Longley and Romero could be crucial for this game.
I think so. I also think the fullbacks are going to be crucial.
Right.
I think Doherty, if he does play, he needs to play the game of his life. He really, really does. Look, it's important that we all stick together. We've all got to do our jobs. We've all got to go as one. We all go forward as one, and we defend as one. And that even means the strikers coming back as well, doing their jobs. Everyone's got to do their jobs 120%. We cannot let Arsenal do the double on us. It's unthinkable. It's
Do you agree that
unthinkable.
form doesn't come into it? Or, I mean, how do you feel about that? Because Mia was chatting about that form doesn't come into it. Even really good Arsenal sides and really poor Tottenham sides have come up against each other, but Spurs still found a way to win at home. I mean, do you believe
Form
in
does-
that, or is it
Yeah,
different
I
this
do.
time?
Look, I've seen enough North London derbies in my time, 41 years supporting Tottenham, so I've seen a few. And form, I tell you, form does not go into them. You know, it's a unique game on its own. Every London derby is unique. Any derby, form doesn't go into a London derby. But this one, it's for definite form doesn't go into it. We had bad sides in the 90s, and we drew at Arsenal or we beat them 1-0. You know, we beat them 3-1 to win the FA Cup when they were going for the double in 91.
Yeah.
Nobody really expected us to win that semi-final, but we did. So form, that proves form doesn't come into it. It's whoever's up for it on the day. And we've got to be up for it 120%. We've got to be raring to go, pumping out, you know, really blood going, flames coming out of our noses in that tunnel, just giving it to them.
Yeah.
Then they walk past, just keep saying you're crap. You're no
Is it
good.
about setting that tone physically too, though, Dermot, right? Where the likes of Romero, we were saying, needs to be able to get in a nice early smash, maybe as well a Højbjerg, right? Just showing them maybe the weight room. I think that Arsenal side, they're very good technically, probably better than us technically, let's be honest. But what we might have over them is a bit of that physical factor. And so we could show them a bit of intimidation that way, right? Where we could, not let them make it clear to them it's not going to be so easy.
Intimidation is crucial. The fans have got to play their part. But this starts in the tunnel. Start in the tunnel at them. Start just whispering in their ears, I'm going to get you when I'm out there. Like to Saka and people like that. Look, I'm not going to let you pass me. And then when he's out there, just say Romero, say to Longley, oi, put him into Rose Ed. Do you know what I mean? Just genuinely, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just let them know that we won't be intimidated, and the fans are crucial. We've got to make White Hart Lane a cauldron.
Channel of Graham Roberts. Yeah. Channel your inner Graham Roberts.
Exactly. We've got to make that place where when them Arsenal players come out to warm up, that they're going to go back in the dressing room. I don't want to go out there.
Yeah,
I do not want to go up there for an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Make them scared. And once they're scared, Arsenal are beatable. Once they lose their head, we've seen it enough times this season. If you let Arsenal play, they will play you off the park. If you don't let them play, they get frustrated and then they lose their composure and they lose their concentration. We've got to do that.
I think you're right, Dermot. I think it's about surviving that first. I think they play really well in that first 15, 20-ish minutes, Arsenal. So it really is about actually surviving that and also just meeting them toe to toe. It's not like cowering in and, sitting deep the whole time and trying to survive it. It is about also meeting them toe to toe when it comes to it. But also we have to just take into consideration, I think they start games very quickly and they start games very well. But they then sort of peter away, I think, a little bit, or teeter away a little bit after that. And so I think it's just about maybe taking advantage of maybe, their weaknesses, but also recognizing their strengths. And I think one of their strengths definitely is how they start games here.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about that midfield, Dermot, and Wayne Bonner saying, I love Hill, Messi, and Sarr. Sarr is what we expected Basuma to be. And then some. Both will be big players in our future. Papa Matasar or Basuma Dermot? What are you thinking for tomorrow? He went with Papa Matasar, Wayne did. He's going for the man in form, the kid who's feeling confident. Or do you go for Basuma, the guy who's played in these big games?
I go for Papasar all day long. I do not trust Basuma. I
Yeah.
do not trust him. I don't think he's good enough for us.
Yeah.
I think he hasn't played well. He doesn't deserve his place. Papasar does. And so does Hill as well. Hill deserves his place as well. But
He'll luckily kind of be taken away from the pressure, whereas Papa
Mm.
Matasar, right? So much pressure on the kid if you do pick him. Whereas Kulusevski is back. He's likely to start ahead of Hill, which means that Hill got his moment. He got his week, right, to sort of win people over. But then he gets taken away from the firing line, gets taken away from kind of the pressure, and Kulusevski gets to step in. Whereas Papa Sarr, like, is it too much pressure? Is it too much? Is it too big of a game, Dermot, to throw him into?
There's an old saying, Jack. If you're young enough, you're good enough. If you're good enough to play, if you're young and you're good enough, you'll be put in. He deserves his place. Basuma doesn't. But Basuma hasn't shown me anything what he deserves to be. He needs to go away and work in his game, or listen to Conte, what Conte's trying to tell him. Papa Sarr in there ran the midfield. I think, especially for the Portsmouth game, he was the only one that actually stood up and did anything. And he deserves his start. And look, he's a very, very good young player. And we need to play our good players. We need to play the players that are in form, not putting in players that are out of form, that won't put in the shift for you. Papa Sarr will. And we need players on Sunday who's going to put in the shift, roll up the sleeves and get stuck in. Yeah. And you can't expect that from Basuma, because Basuma will not do that.
He was supposed to be the signing of the season, though, Dermot. So, like, is that maybe us giving up on Basuma already, or is it just kind of just picking the kid in form? I mean, how do you look at that, right? Because he was supposed to be a guy that was displace Højbjerg. Like, a lot of people really rated Basuma. I really rated Basuma before this season began. And what does that say? Does that mean we're kind of giving up on him if Sarr plays ahead?
I don't think we're giving up on him. I just don't think he's good enough. I just, you could buy you could buy a player from any club and they're brilliant for their club you're buying them from. And to go to a different club, you've seen it yourself, Jack, by other players, other teams, they just don't fit in, or they don't get on with the system, or it's the manager or whatever. Yeah. And maybe it's just one of them things for Basuma. He doesn't like Conte's system, or something's just not right. It could go to, we could sell him, go somewhere else and have a worldie. Yeah. But I just think Papa Sarr deserves his place because he's in form and he deserves it and he's earned it. Yeah. Basuma hasn't earned it. And you've got to earn your starting spot. You've got to earn that shirt. Papa Sarr has earned the shirt and he deserves to keep it.
I think I might lean towards Basuma still, but I like when you're talking about the guy that's more informed, it's almost easier to kind of, back the kid that's more informed than it is to back the guy that kind of needs a game like this to sort of win the fans over. Let's be honest. Yeah. And then Wayne, Hill Messi, we love Hill Messi around here, but I'm kind of happy he's being taken out of the firing line a bit for me, Wayne, just because it's such a big game, those North London derbies. I think Hill Messi had his time, right, to just show his worth and to show maybe why he was brought into this club. But these games are so massive. Like, I feel like, it's a bit too much for him. We'll see if Sarr, if he's given the chance, whether he can handle it or not. But I don't know. For me, I think I might just do Basuma just so that he could sort of maybe prove why we brought him in the first place for me, Wayne. I like to see how much confidence Wayne has in these younger kids. That's for sure.
I would bring Hill on for the last 15 minutes. Because this is Kulu's first game, Decky's first game back. I bring him on for the last 15 minutes and let him run right, because he will. Philip Brady and me were talking about it. He reminds us of Ginola back in the day, where the long flowing hair, he runs down that, a bit like Tony Galvin as well in the 80s. He just runs at you. And Hill's like that. Hill runs at you. And he's got that trickery. He's got that bit of skill that he's above everyone else. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? You can see he's going to be above everyone
Can he
else.
be the Kulusevski alternative for the rest of the season? Like, maybe what I mean by that is, instead of looking at Malinovsky, I know he's already gone to Marseille, but we were looking at Marcus Edwards too, right? All these players that can play on the right, that can be that Kulusevski kind of competition, that Kulusevski alternative. Is Brian Hill maybe already taken his spot and being that alternative, that understudy?
I think so. I think we have generally a world-class player on our hands. We rarely do. And I think if we're lucky to have Conte there, because I think if it was any other manager, I think Hill would have been gone a long time ago. But Conte sees something in him. And he's repaid Conte 10 times over by the performances, for the last couple of games. He really has repaid Conte's faith. He's repaid Conte's, he's put time and effort into him, and he's repaid them. And we have a chance now with a few good footballers at our club that we can now build a brilliant side. We've got a bit of mixture of experience, but the younger players coming through, Hill, Papa Sarr. We've got that right back coming back off loan in the summer. We have a nucleus of an unbelievable side. We're on the crisp. We're on the sort of on the verge of something beautiful. We've just got to see it through now. Just add a few more players to it, and then by Jesus, we'll go flying.
Well, Dermot, give me maybe a score prediction. Maybe let me know how this game's going to unfold, and then I'm going to plug your channel in the chat here.
Look, I think Arsenal will come out for the first 15, 20 minutes. We'll see that through, and then we'll win 3-0 with Harry Kane with 2 goals here. Big Jimmy Greaves' record. He'll become the highest ever goal scorer for Spurs in our history. And I think it's written in the stars that he will break that record on Sunday. And we'll win 3-0. I can't see any.
Oh, it sounds like everything goes our way come Sunday, Dermot. Like the greatest weekend of all time.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we win Sunday, the rest of the season, if we beat Arsenal and Man City, if we beat Arsenal and then get, say, 4 points against Man City, I think we're flying. I rarely do. I think if we get a point away at Main Road, it's not Main Road. I'm so used to calling it Main Road, but get a point away, beat them at home, and then I think we're flying and beat Arsenal. I think we're flying, and we'll win the FA Cup this year as well. That's ours. That's coming home.
I need this sort of confidence, Dermot, because I think the next guy we're going to be speaking to, Daniel, afterwards, isn't feeling as confident. He's kind of like me, so it might be a little doom and gloom afterwards here. So we're going to need this. We're going to need this glory Tottenham Hotspur coming from you and Mia here. It's good to hear it. It's good to hear it.
To support in Tottenham, you got to think of it this way, Jack. Tottenham is not a club. It's something more than that. It's our second love. Tottenham Hotspur is more than anything in this world. And we are the best in the world. Maybe we haven't been for the last few years, but Tottenham Hotspur is Tottenham Hotspur. And we will rise and we will win and we will be successful. There's no doubt about that. And Conte will lead us and we will win something. So don't give up. Keep going at it. Look, times may be tough. Games may be hard. But look, we've gone through it before and we'll go through it again. But one thing will never die. Our love for Tottenham Hotspur, because they're the team that we will follow to the end of our days.
And what a fitting name then, Dermot. THFC Till I Die. What's coming up on the channel this weekend?
Tonight we've got an Arsenal fan and we've got Dino, the Arsenal fan. He came on before the first North London derby. Really enjoyed it. So we're on tonight at 7. Me, Philip, and myself, Philip, and Dino. And then we've got the pre-match tomorrow, and then we've got the watch-along on Sunday. And me and Philip are unbeaten on watch-alongs at the moment with Tottenham. Every one we do, we win. So we're trying to keep this wrong.
We need all the good luck charms we can get. And Dermot, I saw your member super chat as well, my man. You say Tottenham Hotspur is not a club. There's more than that. They are more than that. There's a second love. The history, the managers like Bill Nick, Mr. Rowe, Keith Birkinshaw have brought us glory. We will rise because we are Tottenham Hotspur. Big up, Dermotron. Beautifully written.
It's true. We shouldn't forget our past. We should embrace it. Look what we've done before. We may be going through a dull period. It's not always going to be like that. We will be going down the Tottenham High Road again with cups and trophies and leagues and everything. We will rise, and Tottenham Hotspur will be back, and we'll always be back because we're the greatest team in the world.
Love that, Dermot. Love you, my man. We'll see you soon, Dermotron, and catch you on the next show, brother. Appreciate
you. And get well soon, David. I hope you're all right, brother. And as well, Jack, take care.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Big man, Dermot. Good man, Dermot. Please show T just to eat till I die some support. Give him that subscribe, please. Show him some love over, especially because we're headed into a North London derby. Everybody needs to see some love. Steve D, good to see you, my man. Afternoon, Jack, Dermot, and Shaq. Good to see you as always, Steve D. Hope you're well. Do you have confidence in Conte coming this weekend, Steve? Does manager even play a part in these North London derbies? A lot of people think form doesn't come into it, Steve. Does the manager come into it? Because I know you're not always too confident in our man Conte. Paul Beatty, pressure. Sarr has played at a World Cup, man, and did well. Chuck him into the team, Jack. Interesting, Paul. A lot of people have confidence in Papa Sarr. And Chunky Cheeks here says, can't play the guy in abysmal form just because of age or last season. Also, all young players eventually come to a pivotal moment. Sarr should get the nod. So Chunky's kind of like maybe talking about what I was sort of referencing with Bissouma, kind of maybe playing in the bigger games before. He's really highly rated before this season and whatnot. And he's kind of just saying, you got to play the kid that's more informed, the guy that's actually more confident in his first touch, the guy that's more confident in how he'll come into a game. And Chunky, I kind of see where you're coming from, if I'm going to be honest, but I still might stick with Bissouma here because, like I said, it feels like, are we giving up on Bissouma then? Are we sort of writing him off? Maybe I'm kind of being a bit dramatic here by sort of putting it in that sort of terms or that sort of lingo, but I don't know, my man. I feel like if we are going to not have confidence in Bissouma to be able to step up here in this game, maybe we don't have a ton of confidence in him, but if we don't back him to be able to do so, feels like, have we already kind of written off, him? Is the signing already a failure? I just don't know, my man. I just don't know, Chunky. So it feels like I'm going to stick with my guns here and go with Bissouma, but Papa Sarr is the kid in form. And to be honest, I'm seeing a lot of wise heads, Paul to Wayne to I think a few other people in the chat as well that have stuck with Papa Sarr, and they want to see him come into it. So I don't know. That's how I'd put it, is that Bissouma, he was supposed to be brilliant. He was supposed to basically displace Højbjerg this season, and he's really, really highly rated player. And I don't know, I guess just hasn't really stepped up in the way that we thought he would, but could this be the game he could do it? I don't know if it can, but it feels like maybe I'm being dramatic here, but it almost feels like we're writing off Bissouma if we don't play him in this one, Chunky. But good question, my man. I'm going to put it up later for the next guest, so don't you worry, Chunky. Really appreciate the support. Wayne Bonner also saying, currently Sarr is our best midfielder. Discuss. Whoa! If Bentancur is not available, maybe so, Wayne. Just because Højbjerg, even though I love that guy, he's not been in good form. He really has not been the Viking. And since that World Cup, basically, since coming back from it, just has not been in good form, Wayne. So you might be on to something there. But I think Bentancur, an informed Bentancur, or a fit Bentancur, should I say, I think that's probably the star man. And then June Plays Football says, big up, lads. First time in a while, I'm not going into this fixture chest out. I'll be really honest. I'll take a draw. I'm not really going into this one as confident as well, June, but I don't know if I'll take a draw. I'm kind of going for a 2-1, a bit of a shithouse 2-1, if you will, but I see where you're coming from, my man. I'm not the most confident I've ever been really when it goes into these, but we'll get on to the next guest and see what he has to say, but he's already told me ahead of time he's not feeling very confident. Daniel Larson, let's get him on here. How we doing, Daniel? It sounds like we're not doing good.
Nah, listen, it is shut down the confidence right now, I gotta say.
So are you with June here? Like the chest is not out, going into this North London derby. You're just not feeling as confident as you normally would.
No, I'm not. I remember last fixture, like the last home game against them, I was so confident, and I was right to be confident because we battered them. But this time, it's a different beast all around. It's a complete different beast. And I have a feeling if we're not on our toes, we might be taught a footballing lesson, unfortunately.
Is that because just the way, are you worried about how maybe Arsenal start games? We were speaking about that a lot today, Daniel, right? They start games quickly, they score early in halves. Is that maybe kind of why you sort of maybe not also go into it confident? Because let's be honest, we're a second half team. Like we sort of start games slowly and build our way into it. And they're completely the opposite. Let's be honest, Arsenal.
Yeah, they go at you full 100 and just the energy and passion and just the I can't say that word in English, sorry, but they're gonna be so hard to control. You gotta be completely focused especially the defense have to be completely focused and switched on.
What would give you then confidence, Daniel? Would it be like an early Romero smash, like something that, like, what would give you confidence in the first 10 minutes that maybe Spurs are here to play? Like, what would maybe show it to you? I mean, of course, everybody wants an early goal, but what would maybe show to you, right, that Spurs are here to play, that maybe it could go a little differently?
Well, it is like everyone keeps saying, is that we have to be, smash and grab. It's got to be a smash and grab. Like, I want to see a hard tackle, like first minute from Romero or Højbjerg, something like that, and just showing him I'm here to fight. Because right now we have to be honest with ourselves. They are a better footballing side than us, and if we're gonna be out there playing just football, we are gonna lose. We have to be dirty and just be on their faces to be able to have a chance.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Do you feel like maybe they're just too technically good for us and we have to kind of beat them in other ways? Like, because I kind of brought up how they're kind of full of a lot of small, slight sort of kind of players, right? The Arsenal, but whereas we kind of have a full of, Conte kind of soldiers, big, tall, strong, kind of shithouse type of guys. And I don't know. It's kind of two different games, two different play styles to a degree. And how do we go about that, Daniel? Do we kind of maybe sort of intimidate them with some of that physical aspect, like Conte would like to put it? Do we get, like I said, a few of Romero smashes in?
Yeah.
Højbjerg's got to be on his games, got to be channeling that Viking energy, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, set pieces is going to be so important. Corners and free kicks from the side areas into
We
the
need
box.
Gianni Vio for this one. We need him to be cooking up a good set piece routine.
It got to be West Ham on steroids from last season,
Exactly right. Perisic, then, I mean, he could be a big player, right? I feel like last time in that North London derby, Daniel, he was kind of he was torn apart by Bukayo Saka, but I'm willing to risk it this time because Perisic is our only hope in certain moments of getting a good ball in, getting a good delivery. I mean, he just grabs an assist for fun, it feels like. Even when he's not even playing that well, he'll still grab an assist. So he's kind of a must start for you, right? Even if Bukayo Saka causes us problems, I feel like I would still play him. Right.
Yeah, but you have to, because if Sessegnon, you can't rely on him. If he starts, then I'm turning off the TV. So you can't.
Did you give up on Sessegnon after that Portsmouth game? It's just
I've been up on him a long time. Since last season almost. So.
Would you have Perisic Would you have Perisic take corners, or do you feel like Sonny? Like, would you have them kind of switch it up? It's hard because Perisic, I've seen him put in really good corners, but then he also does that flick on as well at the near post that helps us out. Like he's just crucial, like in every part of those kind of set pieces. So I don't know. I think for me, he just kind of has to play. But let's get to Bentancur, maybe, Daniel. Let's get to if he's missing in this one. Chunky Cheeks is saying we have to play Papa Matasar because he's the kid in form, and he was sort of kind of saying, like, even if Basuma was a good player last season and he has that experience and that age, that's not the reason you play him. You should play the guy that's kind of in a feeling maybe more confident, and that's probably Papa Matasar, not Basuma. Where do you stand on this?
Well, I'm so torn, dude, because like I said, I think Basuma is Lo Celso in disguise at this moment in time. Said it before. Like but he's been terrible.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah, but I'm still not giving up. I'm still not going to give up on him because he's a quality player. So I'm still going to believe that the quality will come true at one stage, and hopefully, if he starts, then it will be against these lot. But I can understand.
Have we given up on Basuma? Did you hear what I was saying earlier? Does that mean we're giving up on Basuma, or does that mean I'm being dramatic? Like, what do you make of that?
I'm not giving up on him still. I'm still not giving up on him. I just can't, because I know there's a fantastic player in there, and I'm going to convince myself that he's going to turn up eventually. Yeah.
Sorry, just putting in the order here for the rest of the chat. Sorry, everybody responded a little late to that. My apologies, everybody. Bit of a yellow card for myself. But Chunky, I don't know. Like, what do you make of Papa Matasar? Is it too soon for him? Is it too big of a game? Would you say, Daniel?
I'm kind of 50-50 on him there, because he could go out there if he starts and be fearless and play really good. And then, to the other hand, it could be completely out of his depth, and then all of a sudden the fans will be on his back, and then his confidence is gonna get low as well, and we don't want that. So it's so tough, you know.
He's kind of saying Basuma has it in him, but he hasn't earned it, in my opinion. Close call, probably. Interesting. He's saying he hasn't earned it, basically, and I
Yeah.
agree with that. Like, he's been
I
given
agree.
chances. Like, Basuma has been given good chances this season, and I feel like even when he's had good games, I don't know, like you sort of wanted him to then follow it up with another brilliant performance, and I feel like he hasn't this season for me. I think there was a game where he really did step it up and he really did come into it and show, his class, but then he didn't follow it up with another good performance afterwards.
Yeah.
In fact, he seems to be better actually for us when we sort of bring him on off the bench and kind of have him sort of see out the rest of the game. He's not bad at that, actually. He's kind of sort of helping us control the rest of the game. But I don't know. He's just been a disappointment, let's be honest. But Daniel, what were you going to say?
No, against Liverpool, that's when he had a really good game and showed like the Basuma of last season, or the Brighton Basuma. But he did come on at that game, in the 60th minute or something. So in the 3-man midfield. So
maybe a bit of transfer news. I haven't been able to ask anybody about this. Trossard, I mean, what do you make of this? Like, he kind of had a bit of a fuss in training, kind of. Had a bit, like he had a bit of a kick up, basically, where I think he just didn't listen to something De Zerbi said, and then just stormed off in training, and now they're kind of just showing him the door. I mean, Spurs are now going to jump all over this, basically, because they're going to see this as a cheap deal, maybe, or a cheap opportunity to get him in. Would you take in Trossard? Do you rate Trossard?
I do rate him, and I would take him. Yes, I think there is a quality player in there that can turn up against, big team. He did score a hat-trick at Anfield. Not many, like, I don't know how many people can do that. So, and he also is, if he's left mid, so it could be that Son, kick up Son, up the arse as well. Get Son on form, challenge Son.
That's what I feel like about it, Daniel, is like with the way Brian Hill played in, the recent games and the friendlies and everything, I'm kind of like Kulusevski is clearly the favorite. Like Kulusevski starts ahead of Brian Hill. And this whole sort of year we've been kind of talking about who do we bring in as the Kulusevski alternative when he's hurt or, to give him a rest. And it's like, from what we've seen from Brian Hill, I'm kind of like, it's sort of similar. Like he brings that creativity, brings that kind of eye for a pass, that bit of techers and all that. But now I'm kind of thinking like, should we actually be looking at a Sonny alternative, right? Should we be looking at somebody that could come on for Sonny, bring something a bit different? And Trossard, if you're looking for a cheap option or like an opportunistic sort of signing, he kind of makes sense because he's in form right now. He plays off the left. He's good on the left. And I think he's a little different to Sonny. I feel like he's a little bit more creative. Whereas Sonny's a goal scorer, I think Trossard's a bit more kind of a creative, tricky type player for me.
He's kind of like that. Also left wing backs type player as well. He's played there before. So he's kind of like that creative plus goal scorer left mid we could be missing, this moment in time. So no,
Joka saying Trossard is a no-risk cheap option. Well, that has
exactly.
Spurs written all over it then.
That's Daniel Levy, that's for that.
We're salivating at the mouth then in that case. Phil saying first goal is key. There's a red card in this game. 100% Conte is going to get Arteta in a headlock as well.
That could be
red card. Would you predict a red card in this one? Could you see a red card happening?
There's been a lot of red cards recent games, so that could easily be. Sadly, that could be like Romero as well. Sadly, like I could see him getting a little bit too ahead of himself, but as well as an Arsenal player, if they're getting a little bit too eager, like Granit Xhaka, I need to see him. I can't stand him being this good. I need to see him fucking.
Yeah, it's annoying actually.
It's fucking annoying. How?
It's annoying to see him be see him be good. I need someone, to just take him off. Just seeing someone get riled up, or want to see Martinelli or him get a red card. That would be nice, actually. Or maybe, or what do you make also? Odegaard, is that like their big player? Is that the most important player for them?
I mean, how much of an irony is that? The fucking Norwegian is their best player. Jesus. But I said this about Odegaard. I wanted him at Spurs when Real Madrid was selling him. I want him really bad because I've always been like his biggest fan. Sadly, I can't be that much of a hater of him because we're Norwegian can't stick together. Not many of us. So
it's hard to hate him.
yeah, and he's my age. He's born the same year, my age. So
I didn't know that actually. He's been around forever, I think, too. Like,
he's been
basically around
15.
Since he was,
16
15
when he
exactly right. Well, Daniel, give me a score prediction, my man, and tell me how this game's going to go.
Fuck.
I said 2-1. I said 2-1.
Well, you gotta go for. I'm gotta go for a win here. I can't go for a loss, no, or a draw.
1-0, 2-1. What are you thinking? 3-2? Could it be a crazy game?
See, that's the mad thing. Oh fuck. Okay, 2-1 or 1-0.
2-1 or 1-0. That would be impressive.
Kane is going to score. Kane is
impressive from our defense.
Yeah, that's okay. Actually, no, then 3-2 because our defense might not be able to.
Made you change your mind.
Yeah, I completely forgot. That's also the fucking Nketiah has been good as well. Fuck.
I know, it's so annoying.
I called him in crap here last year, for fuck's sake.
Shit. He is still he's still in crap. Yeah, what Romero will show him the weight room. Don't you worry. He'll show him the floor. Don't you worry. Well, good chat, Daniel. I'll be seeing you probably if we win, a good post-match fan show. Champagne out, beers out. We'll be celebrating. Yeah. If not, I'll hopefully be able to catch you Monday for a good bit of therapy.
Yeah, need it. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
good man.
Pleasure, Jack.
See you soon, brother.
Come
on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
All right. See you soon, Daniel. Good man. Everybody show Daniel some love in the chat, please. It was a good chat with him as always. And let's be honest, he kind of needed that opinion, someone who's not going into it as confident, because as much as I'm hosting the show today, like I said, 2-1 is what I'm sort of going for. I need somebody to instill some confidence in me. Maybe it's also because we're still, 48 hours away. So maybe I just kind of need that pre-match build up, that pre-match pump up, and maybe need an early beer or something like that in order to kind of get myself, going. But I don't know. It's hard to be confident right now. But I'm going to go on to the next one here. We have, I think it was Paul Greaves. Looking forward to this, Paul. Debut.
Hello. How are you?
Good, man. Where do you stand on this? I'm getting, same question as always, the general feeling going into this. Are you going to maybe hype me up and, tell me to pull myself together like me and Dermot have? Or are you kind of like Daniel here where you're just sort of not very confident at the moment? How are we feeling, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, the home advantage has always been the biggest catalyst, doesn't it? So it seems to put the home team in good stead. So for that, I'm obviously optimistic, but it's probably the worst time to be playing a very good Arsenal team. We don't look great and they look very good. So
is it the best one since the Invincibles? Like, am I crazy by saying that, or what do you make of it? Best one since the Invincibles?
It's a weird one for me, Jack, because on paper, they're not great on paper. I think I've watched quite a few of the pundits and fans do their starting 11 combined, Tottenham and Arsenal, and most go with the majority being the Tottenham players.
Yeah, I mean, form right now too. You would pick that whole Arsenal backline on form and things like that. Like, I don't know. That's
yeah, but then I suppose on form you'd probably have Son, Kane, Kulu, Romero. I mean, Romero you'd probably throw in there, wouldn't you? Possibly Lloris. But yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely a very good Arsenal team. The huge advantage we have is we're at home.
Yeah. Do you feel like form doesn't go into it then because it's at home, because it's such a momentous game of the season? Could be a huge turnaround. Like, no matter if they're top of the league, feeling that sort of swagger, feeling that confidence, and no matter if the fan base for us is a bit divided and all that, it's a North London derby. Sort of like, does all that kind of go out the window? Do you think all that sort of tension?
Yeah, definitely with the fan base. I mean, the fans unite regardless if you're Levy in, Levy out. This is definitely one of those games where, regardless of your opinion with the board or other matters in the club, we're all together. We're all
build
united.
That cauldron of hate for the scum.
Exactly. Exactly. The hatred with Levy for some of us goes way beyond. For the hatred for Arsenal goes way beyond the Levy thing. So, look, for me, I think form has a certain part to play still. There's no two ways about it, because with form comes confidence. And at the moment, Arsenal are confident. They're flying.
Mm.
So you can't just disregard form because it's a North London derby, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, as I say, and I know I've repeated it, but the home advantage is huge. And I think it's been 6 or 7 years since the away team has won at each other's ground. So, yeah, that for me is a huge plus, and that's probably why I'm holding more optimism.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because it feels like also Spurs though could use this, right, Paul, as like a huge sort of catalyst to maybe kick on a bit this season and sort of maybe turn things around. More players might get behind Conte again. Fan base get behind Conte. I could see this as a huge turnaround for sort of our own momentum, our own energy, but also, right, everybody's kind of predicting Arsenal to slip up at some stage. Like maybe we could be the guys to get that going, because that's got to happen at some moment, and this could be the time to do so, right? Take them off the pedestal, to humble them a bit.
Absolutely. At the same time, it could propel our chances to get the top 4 and get hit the ground running again, albeit we've got City twice sort of immediately
this
after.
January is rough.
It's proper rough. We can look at it in 2 ways. You lose against Arsenal at home, and then you've got 2 tough games at City. You lose them 2, and the pressure's really on. Or you beat Arsenal, the confidence is high. Arsenal will then, slightly derail, we hope, and then we can go on and kick on against City. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, as always.
Wayne Bonner saying Tottenham is in our DNA. We are loyalty defined. I can tell you're loyal, Wayne, and we're going to need everybody, need all the good luck charms we can get. And this guy, Wayne here, was really confident in Papa Matasar. Paul, where do you stand if Bentancur isn't fit? Like, who do you go for? Do you go with Basuma? I've gone with Basuma because I'm kind of like, listen, we brought him in for a reason here. Like, aren't these the games that he's supposed to be kind of shining in? Or do you go for the kid that's so confident right now, the kid that's so informed, Papa Matasar?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I'm completely with you, Jack. I think Sarr is clearly on form out of the 2, or out of the 3 if you include Skip. But I'd probably go Basuma. A little bit more experience in that regard, and he's not playing great. I've heard some people like our good friend Ben Kaufman potentially saying, long COVID, and that could be, a reason behind it. It's which could be a reason. But regardless of which, I'm in agreement with you. I'd stick with Basuma, big game player. If he has a poor half, then potentially make the change at half time.
Yeah. I just sort of looked at it, Paul, where it's like, if we kind of don't play him in that game, I'm a bit of a, love to make things dramatic when I don't need to, but it just sort of feels like maybe we're giving up on him in a way. Like, it's kind of like, why sign him for that big, it wasn't big money, but why make such a statement signing, such a great signing that everybody rated back in the summer? And then you're not playing him in the North London derby. Like, that's kind of the whole point, like for him to sort of come in here and take advantage of those chances. And I know he hasn't taken advantage of the chances he has in the past, but I don't know, maybe call me a dramatic, but it just sort of feels like it just feels like you kind of have to play him. It just feels like maybe you are kind of like, you might be labeling it as a failed signing if you're not playing him in a game like that. Like if you're playing a kid like Papa Matasar.
Exactly. And it's you'd presume it's slightly confidence crushing as well for someone like Basuma. He's probably thinking, I need a game like this. Great performance. And then obviously he'll kickstart his career at Spurs. So, in the back of his head, he'll be thinking the same. But like I say, Sarr's a quality player, and it's a matter of time, in my opinion, before he does start more regularly. But at the moment, let's stick with Basuma and see and give him some time.
Mia, Jack, give your damn head a wobble. I mean, I need some confidence here, Mia. I need some confidence here. But like I said, the pre-match buildup hasn't happened. The pre-match pump-up hasn't happened. I haven't spoken to Dave yet. He hasn't been able to instill some confidence into me. I've just kind of woken up on my lonesome and sort of then just been speaking to everybody here. And I'm waiting for you guys to kind of get me confidence. You've done, I think, the best that everybody can do here. But 48 hours away of just, I don't know, I need maybe, like I said, maybe that early beer before the kickoff and everything. Then I'll start to kind of get the energy back in me. But I'll give that head a wobble. Don't you worry. Right before bed. Don't you worry. North County, big up, lads. Good to see you in here, my friend. But What do you make of that question I was bringing up earlier, Paul, where it's like Arsenal start really fast. They like to score early as well. Spurs are kind of the opposite of that. We're a second half team and we kind of start sloppily in the first half. So how do we counteract that? Like, how do we stop them from, kind of taking over in the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, Jack. I know Arsenal played a relatively weaker side against Oxford midweek, but obviously Oxford contained them in the first half. And, we're at home. We shouldn't really be containing the away side in the North London derby, and we should be attacking. But this is a different Tottenham from the past. This is a Conte Tottenham. So, look,
there's nothing wrong with being pragmatic against teams like
Exactly.
Arsenal, though. That's my thing. It's like if they want to throw every guy forward and bombing wing backs and have only 2 men back there and with Partey kind of holding the midfield, like that's how they want to play. That's how they want to play. But we can take advantage of that. Like we can, have Sonny sitting on their shoulder and play balls over the top. And I don't know, like we've done it to Liverpool. I remember Conte, like Conte's had a bit of master classes in the past with playing this sort of pragmatic style against very progressive teams like Liverpool, Man City, etc.
Yeah, I mean, look, the truth of the matter is, Son's crucial. I think he needs a good game. He needs to step up. He hasn't been great of recent, has he? Yeah. So Son will be crucial in this game. And look, I'm optimistic, as I say. You've got to be, haven't you? Nervous but optimistic.
Yeah, nervous but optimistic. That's how a lot of us are going into this one. But I think with how maybe Arsenal start those games so quickly, it's going to depend on that back line of ours in order to be switched on. And I can't say that they have been this season. But like you said, though, North London derby, and they might be actually more nervous than they usually are. So they could be a little, let's say, maybe some of the nerves could show with our back line, but they might not be as sort of lazy and kind of sleepy and sort of sleepwalking into it as I think they have in the past, where maybe someone like Eric Dyer, someone we've accused of being a bit slow on the ball and things like that, he might know that, this is a game where he's got to be fully focused. He's got to be fully kind of energized for this one. So
it would have been nice.
That back line I'm worried about, Paul.
Yeah, no, I agree. Backline obviously isn't ideal, is it? It would have been nice to have the passion of Richarlison, perhaps, for the game. I'm sure Romero will be showing us that passion, but let's hope the lads are up for it as much as we all are.
What do you make of what I said earlier? Longley and him actually are kind of crucial, right? Because I think they're both so good on the ball, Romero and Longley, and they'll press us a lot, that Arsenal team, right? So we need guys like them who are not going to get too flustered, like maybe Sanchez or Tanganga would, or even Dyer would, to be honest. Like they get flustered when they get pressed.
Absolutely agree, Jack. You're spot on. They are crucial for us. I think not just this game, just throughout the season, because you can really sense it and you can see it. It's so evident when Sanchez is on the ball or your Dyer or your Davis. They do get flustered. You're right. They sort of panic mode. Whereas Romero and Longley are definitely more cool. So crucial for us in this game for sure.
I'm seeing that clip ball over the top that Longley likes to do. I could see that working out for us, because if they play that high line, he has more space to be able to hit it over the top, right? And maybe to someone like Sonny, and also even he could pick out someone like Kulusevski who takes up good spaces, right? And if you pick him up in maybe good space, kind of breaking the lines of the midfield, take on a break from there, like. It's just sort of, you need guys who, when getting pressed, when it doesn't look like there are a lot of options, you need players that have that extra second on the ball, right? Those guys that are good enough to have that extra, moment, that extra bit of, breathing room whenever they're on the ball. And when it comes to Sanchez and Tanganga, etc., who take 2-3 touches sometimes to get it under control, it's crucial that we have guys that are, responsible with the ball, if you ask me. And even Arteta, right? Didn't he bring it up or something like that? And like when he went into the first North London derby or whatever it was, he pointed out that that's what you do with that Spurs backline, is press them, because they are uncomfortable when you do press them. And now that we have Longley back, I think, and Romero back, probably the only person I'd be more nervous on with the ball might be someone like Eric Dyer, to be fair. But
which is worrying, isn't it? When you've got the opposition manager telling us our faults, and we already know them. That's
Especially when we were calling him a Lego head last season, you know, and he was he was able to point it out.
Yeah, it's worrying, but yeah, let's wait and see.
Want to get your score prediction in a second, Paul, but I want to also maybe get your thoughts on a bit of a transfer news, see where kind of your head is at on the Trossard situation, because Trossard, he apparently stormed off in training and got a bit of a kick up with De Zerbi. Looks like he's kind of forcing a move out from Brighton. Spurs are apparently kind of taking advantage of that opportunity to get a cheap deal, maybe for someone like a Trossard. Do you rate the guy? Would you be happy to see Trossard come here?
Absolutely. I do rate him. Whenever I've seen him, I think he looks like a good player. I'm not sure if he's more of a squad player than obviously a starting. But yeah, definitely a good player. And to challenge for obviously spots like Sonny's, like you've put in that section there, yeah. I can't see it being a bad buy at all. Like I say, whenever I've seen him, he looks good. He's a Belgium international. Good player, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of feel like he'd also offer something a bit different to Sonny, where Sonny's more of a ruthless sort of goal scorer. I think Trossard's kind of more in that creative department. He'd be more of a guy that can kind of create for others, be able to maybe help out Kane and kind of take a bit of attention away from Kane and kind of create for, just other players on the pitch. So I do like Trossard. I feel like he's a tricky sort of kind of player, but whereas Sonny is more of a goal scorer for me, whereas, and then Trossard can maybe come on and do something a bit differently. And also Dave, I know, hasn't been confident with Richarlison out on the wings as well. So I kind of feel like it's a good opportunity to get a guy that could just be different, to the rest of the people we have to choose from. Just quickly, Hill Messi, are you happy with him maybe sticking around, being the Kulusevski alternative?
You know what? Again, I am. I'm sounding really optimistic, aren't I? But what we've seen of him recently, there's a player in there, isn't there? I think we can all see that he clearly needs to bulk up. He is a bit too slight framed for obviously the Premier League. You see, he's easily taken off the ball, but then it's sort of reminiscent. I'm not comparing the two, but Bale was also very, very thin when he sort of was coming through the ranks and he bulked up. So I would keep Brian Hill, and then see what opportunities lie ahead, really. But Trossard for me is definitely a good option. Keep Hill and just go from there.
Love it, absolutely love it. Give me that score prediction then, Paul. Where we, how's it going to look? Come Sunday. Are you 2-1 like me? Is it going to be more convincing?
Yeah, I can't see them not scoring with our back line, but I would actually go 2-1 or 3-1 to Spurs.
Definitely. Love it. Love it. Well, Paul, fantastic debut, my friend. Fantastic call-in. I want to see you on the next one. Sorry David couldn't be here, but I know he'll be here come Monday. And also, if we do a post-match fan show, if there's a big win as well, if you're able to make it, would love to see you for that. But hope to see you for many more, Paul. Great debut,
Lovely
my friend.
Stuff, Jack.
All righty. Can I get a come on, you Spurs? Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Go on, you Spurs.
Come on, you man. Good man, Paul. There we are, everybody. Wish Paul some love, everybody. Debut as well. Come to North London Derby. Picked a very, very big game to throw his debut in for. So that's a good man right there. Lewis Park, I apologize. You had a member chat from a while ago. 2 months as a fan show member of the Lewis Park. You're good support as well. And he says, big up, Jack. Hoping for a big performance on Sunday. Kane to score 2 and become outright top goal scorer. It's a dream scenario there, the Lewis Park. It's a dream scenario to see Harry Kane get us the win in the North London Derby, but also be able to break the Greaves record. It's just couldn't write it. But I don't know if that's going to be in the script. I haven't spoken too much to Adrian Chia, and Adrian Chia seems to think it's going to be a low-scoring game to Lewis Park. So we're going to need Harry Kane to be able to break that record in the North London Derby. It just feels like it's written in the stars, my man. It's a huge, it's Disney. It's a Disney storyline. It is Lewis Park. But apologies, my man, and thank you for the support, my friend. Thank you for the support. But let's get on to the next guest here. I believe it is Elias, everybody. Let's get Elias to support and see what he has to say ahead of North London Derby. Good man, Elias.
Hey, man. What's up? Everybody ready for North London Derby?
I'm not the most confident, Elias. I've been more confident before. Are you kind of like, Mia, Dermot, and others where you're kind of like, Jack, give your head a wobble. You need to be confident going into this. Or are you kind of like, are you like Daniel? Daniel wasn't very confident.
I'm very confident. I'm very confident.
Tell me why.
I'll say that having Kulusevski back with us, it's a huge boost, and he can actually give Arsenal what we need actually. If you sorry, I got distracted back for a minute.
Don't let Carl rattle you. Don't let Carl rattle you. Elias, but what do you make of that question I brought up earlier? Right, Arsenal, they start up games so fast, right, and they score early. We're not that team. We don't score early. We don't start games fast. In fact, we seem to wait till the second half to come alive. So how do we handle that?
I
Is there
think
an
that
answer?
definitely the key would be in the midfield. The game relies a lot heavily on the midfield this round for the most of the time, because they are a heavy midfield team, and our midfield is uh, not that great as well. But I think that's the area we can rely on rather than our backline. And their backline is not the greatest as well, given that now two of their center backs are on a yellow, and they are a suspension away in crucial games ahead. So definitely they will be shaky. They will be hesitant to make those kind of challenges which they can make in a normal game. So it would be interesting to see the battle between our strikers and their center backs. So I'm looking forward to it really. Um,
I kind of
and
was
one more
saying how, yeah. What were you going to say, Elias? Sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say that if we were to look at Arsenal's weakness, Arsenal is weak when you apply pressure on them. When you kind of snatch the confidence from them, they are weak. They tend to get shaky, and they tend to be a bit more. They tend to lose balls very easily once you're doing that. I remember it was a game or two games ago. Like I can't remember who they were playing, but in that game, oh yeah, they were playing Brighton in that game. And after the first goal, actually, Arsenal looked quite shaky from the back. And also their midfield was shaking. They were losing the balls very easily. And I almost had the glimpse that actually Brighton can win that game. But there was a silly mistake by the Brighton side itself that costed them that game.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that is a
I'm kind of torn on that, Elias, where like I feel like Conte, he's done brilliantly in the past with kind of setting up in sort of a pragmatic kind of style where we don't exactly press them. We sort of engage with them when they reach certain areas of the pitch and maybe find themselves with the ball in certain moments. And then we kind of engage and win the ball and try to counter them. That's how I sort of see Conte setting up, because it's been effective for us against Man City. It's been effective for us against Liverpool and teams like that. Where do you like I'm sort of torn on it. Like, do you set up a bit more cautiously to take advantage of maybe that high line and the space in behind, or do you kind of go after them and, right, like you said, sort of not let them maybe get comfortable? You kind of, go toe to toe with them.
I think definitely Conte might play a slightly pragmatic game. He might try to be a bit more ambitious, sort of, with some of his tactics, and try to play that counter-attacking style of football that we played against City last season. I don't know what approach he would take in, but definitely you have to apply something a little different in this sort of game, because we are not the best team on the paper. I disagree with some people who might say that yeah, we are the best team on the paper. Like, if I were to put it that way, we are not at the moment. Definitely having Bentancur not with us does play a big part, and our bench is not that strong as well.
Hmm.
So I have my concerns on that end. However, I feel that just the fact that it's a North London derby, and also because our home record against Arsenal is not a bad record itself. So I'm pretty confident that yeah, we can pull this off, and we need this game very much. So I feel that the players who are not giving their best, they are pretty sluggish and making those errors. I think they'll turn up on this day.
Neil Shafton saying, you were a fool thinking Kulu is going to be back 100% and can play more than 45 minutes. I think he is not 100%, but even at 75%, he is the best player Conte has available and has to play because of the situation. Neil, I feel like Kulusevski's more than like 45 minutes available. Like, I could see him being ready to be able to play 60, 75 minutes, but I think it might have been Dermot that said that perhaps a Hill Messi could come on for Kulusevski, maybe 75 minutes, something like that, to give him a rest and not risk him too much. But I don't know. I might disagree with you, Neil, that I think he is more fit than that, because it seems like they have been preserving him for this sort of North London derby by the looks of things. They've been kind of just sort of getting him, as fit as possible for it. I'm not saying he's going to be 100%, but I think he's going to be more than 45 minutes. But I could be wrong. What do you make of this, Elias? Do you think Kulusevski, are we maybe taking for granted or thinking he's going to be more fit than he actually is? Like maybe he is going to be, still feeling that injury, like Neil is saying?
I think he might or may not be. It's very hard to tell because I mean, I don't sit in that injury room or whatever room you want to call it. But looking at someone like Kolo, he can make an instant impact in the team once he returned from an injury. We saw that against the game in Liverpool. The moment he came on, he made an instant impact, and I'm looking forward to something like that. And I think he should play the first half is crucial because we need to apply pressure from the first half because Arsenal is a team that if you don't apply pressure from the first half, if you give them that 60th minute mark to to bring on some of your best players, they would grab that opportunity. Because I was in another stream, or was it, I think yesterday, somebody was discussing here that Arsenal's record in the first 10 minutes or the first 5 minutes of both halves is great. They tend to score goals at that time. And we are definitely poor in those timings at the moment. I think our second half timing is not that bad, but our first half has been bad. So we need to apply that pressure from the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. What do you make of the midfield decision here? Højbjerg, he's likely to start because Bentancur might not be fully fit. That's probably the person that might not be fully fit for this one. So are you leaning towards Basuma? Are you leaning towards Papa Montasar? Maybe play a 3-5-2 like I put here? I don't know. You could be thinking about a 3-5-2. What do you make of it? Papa Montasar, Basuma? Where do you stand on this?
It's a tough one. I feel our 3-5-2 works best when you have Bentancur because he can be that sort of like a creative attacking midfield. He can insert that form of element into the game when you have him.
Yeah.
3-5-2 with the current midfield might be a very defensive one. You may not have many attacking opportunities. So I would actually, okay, if I were to be a bit more creative and try something a little different, I might put Kolo as a number 10 behind Son and Kane to be a little bit more creative. And I think Conte did that in one of the games as well previously to just have that edge in the midfield because Arsenal play that midfield. They tend to dominate the midfield quite heavily. So I might try that, but I don't think Conte would do that. I would go with Højbjerg and Skip in the midfield. Looking at the current situation, he may keep
Mia said
Bissouma
that because he's more defensive, right? Like Skippy, he has that, and he knows what these sort of games mean and everything. So there is that too. Yeah, tell me about it, Skippy.
Yeah, so I feel that just having Skip there and Skip is somebody who Conte has been impressed with in the past, and he thinks of Skip with pretty high regards as well. So I do see him starting over Bissouma because if you have Bissouma who has just recovered from an injury as well, I think risking him in this sort of game is not a good option too. Plus, the lack of match fitness is another thing. He hasn't played the last two games for us as well. So if he is coming on slightly match unfit and also unfit in terms of his injury as well, not a good option. I'd rather keep him on the bench and bring him on when we need him, like after the 60th minute, to just have that. Skip is not bad as a midfielder. I think he's just the kind of midfielder who gets going once you give him more minutes. We have seen him.
I feel like he's been given minutes though recently, and he's just he's been off the pace. Like he's not, he got skinned a few times by Eze and Zaha, and then he had a heavy touch in both games where he almost, basically, two nasty tackles. I'm going to be honest, like from really heavy touches from himself in the Crystal Palace game. And then also in that Portsmouth game, he nearly like killed a guy like with one of his tackles. Yeah. Like Skippy is like, I don't know, like that's where I'm at, Elias. Like Skippy, I think, has been given some playing time. It's just that he's not exactly filled me with confidence with the time that he's been given. So do you throw him into this North London derby? It's the question.
I think I'll throw him in just to have Bissouma on the bench and keep the bench strong. Or if possible, I would actually play Daddy Sar in Papa Sar into the team, because I'm pretty impressed with the way that guy plays, the calmness that he has on the ball. Like one side you see Skip, who is pretty much all the everywhere, and he tries everything, and sometimes he makes those errors. But Sar is somebody who likes to grab that opportunity to just snatch the ball. I love that part about Sar,
He's very
and
positive. Yeah. Yeah.
he's very positive on the pitch. And I was seeing his stats. His stats against Portsmouth were crazy, and I would have started him, but I think it's a 50-50% sort of situation where you have a big game like a North London derby and a youngster, and I don't know how it works out. Like, can he cope with that pressure? Can he cope with that element of the hype that is all about North London derby, that spotlight and everything? Is he able to cope with that or not? I'm not too sure. So it looks like it would be Skip. But
Mm.
who knows? I would be very surprised if it's Sar who starts alongside Hoiberg.
Mm. It'd be interesting, that's for sure, because we'll see how he's able to handle that sort of pressure. Kulusevski returning though is absolutely huge for us. Like, and that's a guy that, you know, we've probably needed in the last North London derby. Elias, I don't know if you have a strong memory of that last game this season, but had maybe we had Kulusevski for that game, would we have had a better chance of winning it? Would have been maybe points drop for Arsenal if Kulusevski was in that last game? Like, how important is
Oh,
it that he is
definitely,
back? A lot of
definitely,
people said that we would have won that game if he was available.
definitely we would have. But I just don't like that guy Emerson Royal. Uh,
Yeah, so is it going to be Doherty? And
it's,
another question, red card. Is there going to be red card in this North London derby? There's been a few in
it's
a row now.
I think it might be a red card for Granit Xhaka. Either Granit Xhaka,
Oh, let's
or
hope so.
I can see Gabriel being sent off, or Granit Xhaka being sent off in this game, because they are the two who tend to do that. And Arsenal has been on warnings by FA. So I think that the referees would have gotten specific instructions regarding Arsenal as well, because they have had two warnings already from the FA Cup game and also the Premier League game previously they played. So the referees would be watching out on them, that what's happening. Even though the ref for this game is not our favorite as well, and neither is the VAR, but the element that they have had that two warnings before the game, so they will be pretty wary of what's going to happen next.
I hope that Lego man is put in his place by the assistant referee or the whatever it is. Yeah, the extra referee there, because honestly, he's a little over the top with how much he gets, you know, outside of his what is it? Yeah, his little area, and he also, I've seen him plenty of times, kind of even intentionally kind of stand on the touchline, get in people's way. I don't know. I just hope he gets some sort of touchline ban of some kind. That'd be nice for the Lego head, especially after we smash him come Sunday. Ricky Nato, big up Jack. We must go into this North London derby with no fear. Give them no space. Be strong and aggressive. Show passion and fight for everything. Come on, you Spurs. Maybe last question before we get some score predictions here, Elias. I kind of spoke about this earlier, right? Like, I feel like Arsenal are better than us technically. They have a lot of really good, small, technical players on that team. But we do have Romero, and we do have big, tall, kind of shithousery sort of players
We didn't
that
have Romero
that
last
can.
year, yeah, by the way. We need to
Yeah, we didn't
remember
have Romero. Yeah, you're
we didn't have
absolutely
Romero
right.
last time. Yep.
So can we sort of intimidate them, right? Maybe we won't be as technically good as them, but we will have that physicality over them, right? And that could come to our advantage.
It would definitely
Bully
come to
them a
our
little bit, maybe, if anything, is what I mean, right?
It
Bully them a
would.
bit physically.
In fact, I'm seriously hoping, if possible, you have Richarlison and Bentancur on the bench even. It would do wonders. Like, there is a chance, I was just reading the news, that there is a chance that if there's one more training session and they will try if Bentancur and Richarlison might be able to return for this game, and if they do, that's gonna do wonders. I think then we can win it like maybe 3-0, 4-0. If those two guys just really turns up, that's the thing I would go for. But if I think with the current squad or the current availability that we have, I'll go for a 3-1. Reason being is I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet because of the defenders that we have. And I think Arsenal is the kind of team that doesn't that tends to score goals as well. So it's not going to be easy to keep a clean sheet in this sort of a game. But we are a team that usually win games when we have a bigger margin. So I'll go for 3-1 rather than a 2-1,
3-1.
because I can see two goals from Kane and one from Kulusevski. Not so sure if Son would turn up for a goal or not, but I'll go for a 3-1 for this game.
Oh, love hearing that. I'm sticking with my 2-1, but hearing some good score predictions, I got a lot of confidence from you, Elias. Good to see that, my man. And hopefully we got even more confident from here as the weekend
And
approaches.
yeah, and yep, all those guys who are going to Northern Derby, memorize the lyrics of Arsenal get battered everywhere they go. Arsenal get battered everywhere they
Everywhere they go,
go.
everywhere they go. Good man, Elias. Top man, top man. Can I get a come on, you Spurs as well?
Come on, you Spurs.
Big up, Elias. Good man. We'll see you soon. Okay. We'll see you soon. Good call as well, brother. See you soon, Elias. Everybody show Elias some support. Show him some love. He's building the cauldron of hate for the scum. He's getting the energy in. He's feeling confident. Steve D. He's feeling very confident as well. Carl Simpson. Exactly right. Love the confidence from Elias. I do too, my man. But let's keep on moving. We got, I think, I'm not sure if I spoke to him before, but this could be a debut, but let's get it going. We're bringing on Mitch here, everybody. It's welcome in, Mitch. How we doing?
Yo, Jack, what's happening, bro? I'm a big fan of yours and Dave's show. So, yeah, it's a pleasure to be on here for the first time speaking.
Is this the first time? I'm not crazy, right? It's not the first time we spoke to each other here. Is this the debut?
Yeah, this is the first time, man. We haven't spoke before. But I spoke with Dave on one of the shows on Tottenham, on We Are Tottenham TV. I've spoke to Dave on one of the post-match fan shows.
Good man. Good man. Well, let's get this underway here. I mean, you've been hearing my initial question for a while now. General feeling going into this, Mitch. I mean, are we confident or are we kind of a little nervous?
I'm quietly confident because, you know, we always turn up against Arsenal when it's at home. I think we've got some good news with Kulusevski coming back, and I've just seen on Instagram Richarlison put up a picture of him celebrating the Champions League goal with a little egg timer. So maybe that's Richarlison with a little bit of shithousery coming into the game already.
I love that. Love that. Especially, you know, I love following him on the socials and you get that sort of inside scoop sometimes on maybe the recovery and all that. What do you make then of Kulusevski being back for this one? I mean, is that the guy that we needed in the last North London derby? How important is it that Kulusevski is back? Can he be the one that helps us win it this time around?
Yeah, majorly important with Kulusevski. I think not having him on the right-hand side was probably one of the reasons why Emerson had that red card, because we needed that support down there. And you know, he provides not just attacking strength going forward, but he's a very strong, powerful player that can hold up the ball and take some of that pressure off Kane in that sort of hold-up play. And we majorly lack creativity in the midfield, especially where we set up with 3 centre-backs, 2 defensive midfielders. We're desperate for creativity. So Kulusevski is vital part of our strengths going forward.
What I like about Kulusevski, Mitch, is that he's one of those guys, right? He doesn't need pace, right? He doesn't, skin past his man and, beat them with a burst of pace. In fact, he almost skins past his man and kind of seals them and kind of shows them the weight room, it kind of feels like afterwards. Do you feel like maybe, how would you put this really? Like him maybe is somebody that a team like Arsenal, right? They haven't been able to come up against. I just don't know if, they're prepared for a guy like Kulusevski because he's also right. He's been waiting to play in these big games and he's been hit with injuries so much. I don't know. Like we could see Kulusevski come alive in a game like this because he hasn't been able to feature too much for us. So it's almost like he's itching to go. It's like he's salivating at the mouth, ready to play.
Yeah, he's like a racehorse, chomping at the bit, ready to come out of the traps. And I think that he will hopefully take this by the scruff of the neck and really cement his name and show the rest of the Premier League how good he is. I think he's super underrated. A lot of other teams don't give him enough credit for how good he actually is.
No. Can I? Apparently, there's some news going about that. Madueke is going to Chelsea. Apparently, this was a question actually, Mitch. So I'm going to give you this. We didn't get to do this the other day on the debate show with Ben Sim from Weird Tom TV and Sean. I wanted to ask them about kind of the young players, how we treat the young players, and Madueke going to Chelsea, Marcus Edwards, right, being linked to going to other clubs and things like that after Sporting. Do these guys serve as like lessons, would you say, from the past about how we've treated some of our young players? And so it kind of maybe makes you think we need to do a better job with like Brian Hill, Pape Sarr, Harvey White, players like that, right? Some of our young talents, because I don't know, does Madueke and those guys serve as lessons maybe for us with how poorly we've treated our young players?
Yeah, definitely. I think Marcus Edwards might be a little bit overhyped just because of
Okay.
his performances against Spurs, but I do totally agree that we need to show a lot more respect to the youth. You know, like Brian Hill is a perfect example. We've just had this guy sitting there when he could have been coming on, changing games. We've seen him come on in Champions League and provide flair and creativity, which we just haven't seen anywhere. A lot of these young players have they're hungry to show people what they can do. And you know, the players that we have in this squad, they just throw every manager under the bus. And these young players are new into the squad and they don't have that sort of, you know, that horrible tendency to just put managers in the shit, basically.
Yeah. I sort of look at it as I feel like the team has been so unchanged and we've had such dross in the lineups before, Mitch, that it's almost like certain players have maybe stalled the development or stalled the opportunities for these young guys to have come in because like we're playing in conference league games where we're actually 2-0 down instead of being 2-0 up. So we can't take, off some of our key players and put on some of the young guys in order to shine. It feels like there have been so many opportunities in the past where we could have used games to help guys come into it and kind of maybe show the talent that we have available to us. But we don't really maybe take advantage of certain games and, maybe take advantage of putting them in. It just sort of feels like it's kind of a two-way street, if you ask me, where it's like the manager needs to sometimes do a better job at incorporating the young kids, but it's also up to the senior players to be a good influence and like allow those kids to come in without there being a ton of pressure or anything, right? Because even with the Papa Montasar situation right now, Mitch, it's like, do you really throw him into a North London derby? Like that's, it's a tough game to throw a kid into, especially against a team like Arsenal with how good that midfield is. I don't know where you stand on it, but like, do you throw these kids into these big situations? Do you throw them into the firing line?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you were saying there about about the team not getting over the line in lots of these games,
Exactly.
FA Cup fifth rounds, and that. The situation with Pup Mate Sarr, I think he's shown great. He basically he was along with Kane the only good player against Portsmouth, and what do you throw him into the North London derby? I mean, we've seen
who you going for?
players like
Basuma, Papa Montasar? Who you going
Who
for?
would I go with? Yeah, I'm gonna go for Basuma. I think that Basuma is playing out of position in a very different system to what he was playing in at Brighton. I don't know why Conte is playing him as the defensive midfielder and not playing him in that little bit more advanced position where we know he can get on the ball, turn players, put balls through, and because when he is defending, that's when he has the tendency to slip up, make a mistake, do a dodgy pass, get an early yellow card, and then his hands are tied.
That's a good point that you brought up there, maybe with how he could be the one that is a bit more forward thinking, right? And maybe Højbjerg's the one that maybe drops a bit deeper. But how Conte has it, right, is Højbjerg has been the one that goes forward a bit more, and then Bissouma has been the one to drop deeper. Then again, though, right, like Højbjerg's had like one of the best scoring seasons of his whole his whole career. Like it's a tough one to crack because I agree with you. I think Bissouma might be playing in sort of an uncomfortable maybe position, but at the same time, it's like Højbjerg and Bentancur are just like playing out of their skin right now with being able to venture forward. It's a hard one. It's I don't know, but if we don't play Bissouma then tomorrow, Mitch, does that sort of show like we've given up on him already, or am I being a bit of dramatic here?
We could be a little bit dramatic. It could be that he's got that injury sort of still hindering him. But I mean, ideally, I'd like to see Bentancur start if he's fit enough. But I don't want to see him in there if he's not fully fit and he's going to be off the pace. So it could be a potential of throwing him on for the last 20 minutes to sort of create more things going forward, especially if the game's tight. I think our biggest worries in this game are getting early yellow cards and being in the same situation we was against Aston Villa at home, where you've got all of our defenders on yellow cards, and then pretty much no one. Well, in that game we didn't have any centre backs to even sub on. So, but we're going to have Romero.
Was shocking, Mitch. Though, like that guy was, the agenda was just so clear in that game. Like I don't remember him giving Villa a single yellow, but it felt like any challenge we had made, he was so quick to give a yellow. We can't have that happen in a North London derby. I can't have a trigger happy referee that's willing to throw cards all about. I want him to let the boys play.
Yeah, he has to let it play. It's a North London derby, and it's going to be high intensity. It's going to hopefully be a good atmosphere from the Spurs fans. We know that the scum are going to be making a lot of noise, but I think Arsenal's biggest weakness is their midfield. But at the minute, Xhaka's playing so well, and
it's annoying.
I know, and that is their weak spot. And then their other thing is their other weakness has to be the fact that Mikel Arteta has a tendency to get quite flustered, and we need to get him on the edge, and we need to make him crumble.
Do you know how I think we can do that? Maybe is if we get the first goal, Conte's got to do one of those kind of. He's done it before. I know you know what I'm talking about, where he does that celebration and he kind of like death stares, like the opposition camp for a little bit. I think he's just got to do a bit of housery, right? He's got to be on his form, Conte, when it comes to getting inside the Lego man's head. I agree with you, actually. If he flusters him, that could be part of their detriment. I like how you're thinking here, Mitch.
Yeah, definitely. We need Conte to really wind him up, and we need that goal. And I think that is gonna be a game changer for the Spurs. You got to think outside of the box, because Arsenal are flying high, and we need to dent their confidence and bring them back down, because they don't deserve to be in that top spot.
Exactly right. Give me that best North London derby memory here. Stylo's asking for you, Mitch. What's the best North London derby memory?
Is it the Harry Kane ripping off the mask? I don't know.
Glorious. It's picturesque.
Yeah, we want to see Sonny doing it this time round. It's written there. It's written. There's right. So many things that. But I don't know. I think my best North London derby has to be the one just gone, the 3-0. I don't think that unless we do another one, that was like so much riding on that. It unstabled their season. It allowed us to get into top 4. I remember watching that. I was in a hotel down in Bournemouth, and the whole of the top floor of the hotel could have heard me screaming.
Wow.
That's when that first goal went in.
Epic. And I actually ask you though, like, it feels like these past North London derbies, right? Like, like the last one felt like one of the biggest ones of all time. The one before that, like you said, the one where we were at home and it was deciding top 4, felt like one of the biggest North London derbies in memory. It feels like these North London derbies have become, like, just in terms of even the quality of football has risen, but also like the stakes, right? It's not just pride on the line anymore. Like, with these, it is like sort of season titles and top 4 and so much at stake here. I don't know. I think you get what I'm saying here. Like, it just feels like the levels and what's at stake, has definitely risen with these North London derbies.
Yeah, this is the biggest game of the season so far, not just because it is Arsenal. If you took Arsenal out of the equation, the fact that where they're sitting in the league, the fact that on our fixture list, we need to get into the top 4. So it couldn't come at a worse time, this match, if anything, because if Arsenal win, they get the confidence, they go on. But if we win, I think we're going to see a similar thing to what happened last season, where it unstables them and they're gonna start flapping.
Exactly. Love to see that. Can I get a score prediction, Mitch? Tell me how it's going to go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you as well. It's going to be 2-1. I think Harry Kane will get the brace. We might go 1-0 down. Arsenal come out fast, and I think we might go 1-0 down early doors, and then bring it back for 2-1.
First half team, Arsenal, they get to feel themselves in the first half. We come after them, maybe equalize, and then win it 2-1 in the second. I could see that happening. It's probably how a lot of the bookies could maybe be picturing it, because it is a first half team versus a second half team. That's for sure there, Mitch. But Love it. Fantastic debut, my friend. I'm looking forward to many more of these.
Yeah, dude. Really nice to speak to you. And yeah, look forward to coming back on soon, bro.
Alrighty, top man. And you said 3-1 or 2-1. You went 2-1 with me. That's right. 2-1 with me. I'm looking forward to that, Mitch. We'll see you soon, brother. Can I get a come on, you Spurs?
Come on, you Spurs.
Good man. Come on, Mitch. We'll see you soon. Everybody, show Mitch some love. Another debut today, everybody. People are throwing in the debuts come the North London Derby. I love it. It's a spicy one to get into, and people are confident coming on. It's good to have these sort of chats. I think we're going to finish off, everybody, with the likes of KPV, just making sure I'm not missing any good chats here from anybody. Good to see you in here, Stylo. Really appreciated that question as well, Stylo. It's a good one. But we're finishing off with the KPV. Oh. KPV, you there? KPV, if you can hear me, try to log out and come back in, my man. Try to log out and come back in. Here, KPV, I'm gonna... Don't worry, Tequila. Yeah, it definitely has a reading. It definitely has a reading. KPV, I'm gonna send you the link, my man. I'm gonna send you the link. But if you're not able to click on it, just give me a moment here, KPV. Apologies, everybody. Apologies. KPV is the last guest of the evening. I'm not everybody no more after KPV, but just going to send you the link here, KPV. Just give me a moment, my man. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? KPV, here's the link, brother. Sent it to your phone, my man. I don't want you to, miss out on your chance. I don't want you to miss out on your chance to KPV. Yeah, big up, Steve. There he is. There he is. Let's get him in here. KPV.
Hello.
You didn't. You weren't there to cue the music for me earlier.
My Wi-Fi isn't working. The internet isn't working. So
you're coming clear now.
I have to use my 4G. I have to use my 4G.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
It's not working, mate. So, but yeah, the game.
North London Derby. How we feeling?
Nervous, as I said to Ben and Sim, but we're at home and we will win because they're still going to get the same beating they got in May because we thrashed you in May. Yeah, I'll take you and stop crying. He's going to have the same face as he did in May. So, yeah.
What did you make of what Mitch was saying earlier? I think we need to get into the Lego man's head. Conte's got to do a few celebrations, a few fist pumps in his face, get into Arteta's head, rattle him up.
Yeah, rattle him up and get into a Lego man's head because he got lucky at the Emirates because we didn't have Kulu, so we lost. But now that Kulu's back, and I heard that he saw something on Instagram about Richarlison doing an egg timer on his Instagram story.
Yeah. Did you see that too, KPV? What do you make of that? Can we read into that?
Yeah, I believe I saw it. And he done He done a celebration scoring 2 goals in Champions League on his debut against Marseille. And yeah, I saw it. And another shithousery like done against Nottingham Forest. And Didi Harmon called him out, and Richarlison just replied saying, "Cry more," and he's going to do it again, and Didi Harmon's going to call him out again. But Chris Sutton is a bitch. He said Kane ain't going to score, he ain't going to score, Arsenal's going to wipe the floor of us. Do one, mate. Do one. Chris Sutton. You need to shut the mouth.
He can't be doing that, KPV. He can't be disrespecting our age. He can't be disrespecting Big H before the North London Derby. He's about to be breaking Jimmy Greaves' record as well.
Yeah, he's going to break the record. He's going to break Jimmy Greaves' record, Harry Kane. And the scenes when he scores the hat-trick, then that'll be, 17 North London Derby goals. And he'll still be the all-time record goal scorer. And no one's going to break it. Whoever signs for the Gooners, if they sign a big game player who's going to break that record, no chance. No one's going to break it for the next 5 or 6, 7 years. Not a chance. So Kane's going to continue to score. And yeah, win on Sunday. We're only a point behind United. 2 points behind United, who play before us, Manchester derby, and predictions. Anyone wants the predictions for 2 derbies? It's going to be the same. Well, not for us anyway. We're not losing 3-1. We're at home. So I said 5-0 when I was on 5-0 because we scored 5 when we beat them in the Carling Cup semi-final 2008. That was 5-1. But I want a hat-trick from Kane, Son and Kulu to get 1 each. And that just, yeah.
I love
a
seeing
big
that,
win.
KPV.
And
Hey, in
we
order
don't
to
want
do
to-
that, though, what do we do in the first half in order to get that many goals? I mean, what do we do? Do we sort of, play a bit more pragmatic, right? A bit defensive, or do we just go after them, KPV, in that first
Just go
half?
after them, man. Just
Yeah.
go after them. And yeah, we need to have a bit better first half like we did in the home game last season in May. We turned up in the first half for 2 goals, and then Son scores the third in the second half. And so, yeah, I said it, they're going to get another red card. Granit Xhaka is going to get a red card because he's been sent off every season. So Granit Xhaka can get sent off. Hopefully they won't start Rob Holding because he got sent off. So a red card for Arsenal incoming, not Romero. So a home debut in a North London derby for Romero, who didn't start the last one because injured.
That's
And
right. How
he
important
will-
is it that he gets an early smash, KPV? He
he
needs
gets
to
an early
get the
smash.
first blood, of the evening, Romero. He needs to get that early smash.
He needs to get the early smash. And let's kick their asses on Sunday. We were home, and I think it's been almost a decade. 2014, that was, I don't know what, 8 or 7 something years ago, and they've not won there since then. But hopefully that record can continue. We're unbeaten at home, and they're unbeaten home, but they're away. This is the dark side now. We are the dark side. They are the good side. So you're coming
Also,
to our
KPV,
house.
everybody keeps saying that the Gooners are going to slip up at some stage, right? And we got to be the catalyst for that. This could be the chance to help them,
Yeah, this
to
could
cause
be the
that slip
chance
up.
for them to slip up. And they already slipped up against Newcastle last week. Thanks
Exactly.
to Kieran Trippier getting me some FPL points. He's going to, Pope. And, Arsenal is slipping up again. They're not going to win because they haven't won their first game of 2023 yet. This is their second. They drew at home to Newcastle, and they're going to lose to us again at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Everyone get the beers out, and
we will,
and
KPV.
everyone
Let's hope
get
we have
them,
the beers out
and
come
we're gonna-
Sunday.
Yeah, we're going to kick their ass, and they've got Man City in the FA Cup, who City just lost to Southampton. But good luck, Arsenal. You're not going to beat City because they always turn up when they play them lot. But let's win on Sunday, and then we got Fulham, I believe, after this. So is it City?
Might be Man City. It could be Fulham. Honestly, KPV, you're better man than me. You're a better man than me. I don't even know what's after Arsenal. I'm so focused on this North London derby. I can't even think about what's after.
Yeah, I think it must be City after this. Yeah, it is. So then we have Fulham, and then we got City at home. So we're their bogey team.
January.
City.
Tough
We're their
January.
bogey team. Kane always scores against them. Son, Kulu actually scored on his debut against City. So Kulu score at the weekend against Arsenal, please. And just a man of match performance coming in from Kulu. Clean sheet. There'll be 3 in a row clean sheets. Palace away, Portsmouth home. The Filth home, 3 clean sheets. They've only kept 2 so far. So this is going to be 3 for us. There'll only be 1 they've already kept. So 3 in a row, clean sheets, and
let's get the clean sheets.
let's
And also
get the clean
Kulisexy
sheet,
is back. Good to have our
Kulisexy
Kulisexy back.
and watch him score a screamer because screamer.
Is
He's
he
going
better
to do
than
the one
Bukayo
Son
Saka?
did.
Does he get into does Kulisevsky get ahead of Saka in your combined 11 KPV?
Yeah, of course. And
man.
yeah,
What did you
Kulu
make of
gets ahead
what
of
was it?
Saka.
Sim allowed Saka to get ahead of him in the combined 11 on We Are Time TV. What did you make of that? Yeah.
Sim,
not okay.
what the fuck are you doing, mate? Putting Saka ahead of Kulu? Wrong,
Yeah, I can't be
mate.
doing that.
Kulu's ahead of him, mate. Kulu is back, and Kulu's been nominated for Team of the Year, and you probably already saw my Team of the Year. I posted a picture of Kulu, Kane, Son, and Lloris in goal, but Courtois, I changed it, and yeah, so and Romero, Kulu ahead of Saka, like no Arsenal players in Team of the Year for me, but Kulu gets ahead of Saka in this combined 11. No Arsenal players in there, I'm afraid. I do wonder what's his name's going to be cheering on, but I'd hardly doubt that. But anyway,
you're going to be at the pub, KPV? You're going to be at the pub for the North London derby? You're going to be at the game? I'll be in the pub watching it, and I'll be watching it with the Spurs fans, and singing loud.
There's going to be many Filth fans there, but I'm gonna just watch the game, and Kane score a hat trick, Son and Kulu then full time. The whole stadium will be walking, and the voice of Spurs will be there. Jack Black, his name, James Black, I think, and so it'll be on Twitter. He normally
what's the score prediction then, Kyle? What's the score prediction?
5-0.
5-0. That means the Arteta's going home crying. Lego Man's going crying.
Let's get 5 past them. This will be our biggest derby win in over many years. So let's get 5, and those lot they won't keep a clean sheet. We will 3 in a row, and 5-0. Kane hat trick, Son, Kulu, and man of match performance from Kulu. Hopefully, he'll get a couple of assists and he'll score one himself. So the Kane and Son show keeps on going. It's gonna be happening. Everyone,
North London Derby killers. Let's see them come Sunday. The North London Derby killers. KPV, can I get the send off? Yeah.
All right, everyone. I'm off to play some FIFA. To play at Spurs career mode and beat the Filth, and then the weekend I'll be watching that game in the pub anyway. And as always, Levy out, everyone in. Come on, you Spurs, Conte we trust.
Conte we trust. See you soon, KPV. 5-0. Come on. See you soon,
5-0. Come on.
Come on. Love KPV. Absolute legend that kid is. Absolute legend, everybody. We're finishing off with a 5-0 prediction. And you know it's only going to come from one man only, and that man is the KPV. Hello, everybody. A good show. I enjoyed it. We got through lots and lots of people there. Michael, and I believe as well, Paul Beatty. I'm sorry we couldn't get to. I did want to have a chat with you. Maybe we can work something out. But we also have Monday, of course. That's going to be a big therapy day if things don't go well. Also could be a huge day of celebration as well if things go according to plan. Sunday, likely to do a post-match fan show if things go well too. So there are other opportunities, everybody. Really do appreciate everybody that's been in here today, from Carl Simpson, Neil Shaft, and so many of you guys, Stylo, Adam Phillip, Polio, Adrian Troca, as well as Steve D, Tequila. Really do appreciate you all. Wayne Bonner, absolute legend. Good chatting to you about Papa Matasar, Hill Messi, all that good crack. Dark Sun G, hope you enjoyed the show as well. Really do appreciate you all that have tuned into this one. I'm going to be off and kind of get some images and all that stuff prepared for the weekend. I believe tomorrow Dave is going to be running a kind of a preview to the North London Derby, and that's going to be with some Gooner fans as well. So we're going to be kind of doing a bit of a rivalry sort of show where we're going to be bringing on some fans from various Arsenal channels, and then have a nice little preview before Sunday. So that'll be tomorrow. So stay tuned for that one, everybody. Hit that like button on your way out, and I will be seeing you. Come on, you Spurs, and in Conte I trust.